Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome to Xbox Ultimate episode. I don't know. I think it's 33. And these guys have me laughing right now, right as I was about to go live. I hope everybody is ready to have some fun because this is going to be a blast. This is going to be different than we usually do. As you can see, we have a huge panel today. It is stacked full of awesomeness. I am super happy for everybody that decided to be here and take part in the shenanigans today, because this is a show about Xbox entering the golden age, baby. Yes, and as Xbox is entering the golden age, so are we, as I introduce a layout specifically made for this show by my beautiful wife, Caitlin. Golden Age era is here with Xbox and Xbox Ultimate right now. Super excited again. I'm going to go around and introduce our special guest. And since ladies are first, I'm going to start with the one actually named Lady. And this one is not just Lady, but it's Lady AF. So how's it going, Lady? What's up? And thank you for being here.
It's going well. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited you guys asked me to come back. I enjoy doing this show because I can talk games, but also not be super fucking serious all the time. So, yeah, it's an enjoyable time. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to talk about the topics that we have at hand, even though I got hit with a last-minute fucking super serious question that now has me panicking.
No, hey, I forgot that you weren't in the thread at the time because I didn't know if you were going to be there, and then you said you were going to be, so I forgot to hey, clue you in on this, but it's not a big deal. We also... I'm going to go to another guest because there's another lady that is making her first podcast appearance, but I'm going to skip her right now because her doorbell rang right at the second as we're about to go live. So as we are going down the line, this special guest has been huge in the community in the podcasting game for a few years now. And I had listened to him first when I started being interested in doing podcasting, and I was kind of learning who everybody was. And this guy's been super supportive. I got to speak with him a couple times, I think 3 times on the Shop podcast. And he's making the rounds a lot, and he's been super nice to me. So I want to make a special welcome to the awesome Centurion. What is up, dude? And thank you for being on the show.
Man, what is up? I'm almost about to get emotional, man. I've never had anybody introduce me like that before. But I've been excited since I got this invite. I mean, I've been talking about it with everybody. Me and Invader over at the TXR podcast were talking about last night. I'm excited to be here. I just love joining the more positive podcasts in the community because, I'll put it out there. Sometimes you end up getting on a podcast and next thing you know, you're dodging PlayStation bullets. We won't even go into that story, but definitely I am excited to be here.
That's awesome, man. Again, thank you so much. And now we have I'll say a young lady here making her podcasting appearance. And I just want to warn you, Mars, you are on mute before you try and say anything. So you might want to make sure you undo that. But I want to introduce everybody to somebody we've been having a lot of fun gaming with the last couple weeks. She's introduced us to Among Us, actually, and kind of coached us up on how to play that. So thank you so much. And she's a new Twitch streamer who is going to be doing some streams and is she's excited about that. She's just got all this equipment today and she's been super fun to hang out with. So everybody say hello to Mars.
Hi, thank you for letting me come here. This is not like anything I've ever done, and I'm ridiculously nervous, but I have Chick-fil-A and
it arrived just in time. Did you get the chicken sandwich or nuggets? I mean, what's your go-to?
I got a grilled chicken sandwich.
Grilled chicken sandwich?
And nuggets.
And nuggets, okay. Well, you're a real one.
To get some of that.
That's the way to do it. Are they grilled nuggets or fried nuggets?
Oh, fried.
Okay. Yeah, I don't do the grilled nuggets, but I will do the grilled sandwich. So that's cool. Sweet tea.
Mars, more importantly, do you have mayonnaise?
Oh, no, I don't need mayonnaise.
You need mayonnaise. Oh no!
Oh, see.
I don't eat mayonnaise ever.
That was a trap question.
I'm with you. I will if it's thinly spread to where it's see-through, I will do mayo. But the second I get a gob in my mouth
mayonnaise
of anything white and creamy, it's just not for me.
That shit oozing.
No. No.
Knows what up saying Wahoo for me.
Yeah.
I will do mayonnaise.
And just a fun fact, 3-Bit and Mars actually know each other in real life.
For years.
Yeah,
For
so
years.
we've been hounding her for Mars for 3-Bit information, and she's got juicy tidbits every once in a while. Although he lets things slip occasionally himself, that is a lot of fun. We'll get to that later. So, going around the rest of the panel, we have our usual suspects here. First in my heart, you know her because I love her, and her name is Caitlin. Hey, baby.
Hi.
What's
Did
up?
you see me mocking you?
Oh, you were mocking me? No, I didn't see.
Yeah. Because I knew what you were going to say. You
Oh.
say the same fucking thing every week.
I added a little tidbit that time.
What?
We said tidbit now like 4 times.
Did I?
You
I'm
have.
not counting. But
Am I-
Stop.
Am I like VJ? The VJ says species like every single podcast, I think.
Does he?
Yeah, just listen for it. Next time you hear VJ in a podcast, listen for the word species. I never hear it in any other podcast, but when he's in it, it happens every single time. If you're listening, VJ, shout out to you. You're awesome, man. But listen to the word species. It'll happen. And then we have my man, Pong Soul. What's up, dude? My brother from another place. What's up, man? How's it going?
You forgot wife number 2.
Yeah, wife
So
number
I should be
2.
number 2. I should be number 2 in your heart.
Yeah. Number 2, and a new number 2 in my heart. And I don't love you. No, I'm just kidding. Get much love. Pong Soul, what's up, dude?
Nothing much. Do you feel it? Do you feel the energy shift, Mav?
There's
Do you
this.
feel it?
I thought you were
It's
talking about the love
palpable.
you have for him.
Like I can touch it.
Oh.
That's what I thought.
That's part of it, lady. No, this
What are we feeling?
what an amazing
The energy.
Friday. After an amazing week, to be here with all of you guys. Obviously, what a great night. We've got first timer Pink Panda Mars here, and she has been awesome. Even though I don't play Among Us with you guys, but she has been incredible in chat, and she's awesome. So it's great to see her here. And then obviously, it's fantastic to finally have Psychonauts on camera in a chair with us instead of being in chat all the time and then bothering us in games with his eating. But he's here. So this is fantastic. Once and for all, to have you here, brother. Welcome to the panel. Great to have you. And then, of course, Centurion. And every week I get to get the pleasure of being on a show with you on the Shop Podcast. And I think it's great that Mav invited you. I really didn't have any idea that he was going to do it. So it's fantastic to see you here, sir. I always love doing shows with you. And then obviously, lady, what can I say?
All of the things, obviously.
Speechless.
You're just scary.
speechless.
So you know what? Thank you for coming back
Did you
and
say I
putting
was
up
scary?
with us. Oh, you're the cherry.
Oh.
on top.
Cherry.
I thought you said you're scary. I'm like, oh.
And then lady, and you're scary. So hey, so
Rewind
also,
the tape, make sure.
the gentleman up top on the top row here, the multi-talented, multifaceted animator, creator, designer, actor extraordinaire. I can possibly list all the things that this guy has done, but I keep learning about more every single day, and he still amazes me. Please say welcome to 3-Bit. What's up, dude?
Hello, everyone. It's good to see Mars here for her first podcast. We got Lady who's finally returned back to Ultimate, and this is gonna be a good show. Caitlin, you did these designs, right? These look amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing,
Caitlin.
amazing. Good to see my brother Pong back. Psycho, congrats. You are now part of the Ultimate family. And Centurion, we did a couple shows together. It's good to see you again. It's going to be a fun show. It's going to be more conversational, so I'm actually excited for that and just us bantering about, games and our passion for it and all that good stuff. So it's going to be a fun show. So let's go.
Heck yeah, man. And last but not least, and I saved him for last, especially because this dude has been like just ultra crazy supportive of everything that we have done here on the Fun Speculation YouTube channel. hanging out for all the chats, playing Halo with us all the time, just being an awesome individual. When I decided to start another podcast and Fun Pop, like he was just 100% right. He's been doing such a freaking badass job at that, and he just brings so much to the channel. I could not keep him from being a part of Xbox Ultimate anymore. I had to have him on here. I sent him a question, hey dude, would you please hang out with us every Friday night on Xbox Ultimate because you just bring so much. And he said yes. Not only did he say yes, he went out and got himself a camera. He like got himself like all this stuff and like took himself to the next level. And you see like you should have seen his backdrop yesterday. I was helping him like with the stuff. He like, I don't know where that wood paneling came from, man, but it looks great. And you got a fancy chair now instead of what you were sitting in yesterday, dude. You just like upgraded everything. And love, dude, I'm so excited that you decided to do this, man. I'm excited for all the time that we're gonna have together in the weeks and months and years ahead, dude. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you for inviting me onto the show and being a part of a panel member. I'm excited and I can't wait. Today is going to be exciting and definitely, yeah. I can't even. I'm
He's
lost for
so
words.
excited he can't talk.
Yeah.
He's
Well, hey,
speechless.
at some point you will have to talk, but it's okay for now.
Yeah.
You're allowed to be speechless.
Sorry for now.
No, man, that's awesome. I'm so happy you're here. Now, guys, like I said, this week is gonna be a little different, but we do start the show a certain way every week. And what is that, babe?
The fun speculation of the week. I forgot what I was supposed to say. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. But you were gonna say that this week is a little different.
This week is a little different, guys.
Yes, because hey, there's like one topic today, and it's not necessarily 100% what you guys are thinking. This past week, everybody's been talking. Hey, are Bethesda game? Not even the past week, like the past like 6 months. I don't know, when did they announce the Bethesda thing? Ever since that day, everybody's been talking about, are the Bethesda games going to be exclusive to Xbox, exclusive to Xbox, exclusive to Xbox? Honestly, guys, on Xbox, if you are already in the ecosystem, that is the most inconsequential thing for us because we get those games regardless in Game Pass. So we already had one, and they already clarified again what we all had been saying, that of course they are going to be exclusive. So that conversation is done. And I'm glad that it's over with because we get to move on. We get to have fun with this. In that roundup yesterday, if you guys caught the Bethesda roundup that they were just going on and on about how excited they are to work together, the possibilities of what's to come, different things they can do with technology, different things they can do as a team. And it just like has my mind swirling with this golden age. Now, me and Pong have been preaching this for a while. Yeah, we've been seeing this coming. This next generation, not just on Xbox, but generation for gaming, is going to be something like we've never seen before. And Xbox is leading and ushering the way, I believe, especially with stuff like this with Bethesda. Now, I think the golden age is real. I think we're going to be seeing it. I'm getting a little feedback on somebody's.
3-bit.
Is that 3 bits?
Mute.
3-bit.
Is that, do y'all hear the rustle too?
3-bit.
Yeah, it sounds like he's like
He's lucky he's
caught in
here.
a paper bag or something, trying to escape.
3-bit got a 3090 and it's overpowering everything. So
Yeah.
everybody bear with him.
No, the golden age is upon us, and
It's
I
hard
want to
drawing his
like
mic. Sorry.
I want to play a clip real quick while 3-bit gets himself situated. And this clip was actually something that Aaron Greenberg said, right? And it's about he just can't believe it's real that, you know, they're like family now, right? So I'm going to play that real quick.
But it is fun to see. People just can't believe it's real. Even the official announce, like seeing fans retweet, I still can't believe this is real. And the excitement of what this means for gamers, what this means for dev teams, like, you know, for us, like we could not be more excited. We've worked with you guys for years. We've been fans for years, but now like we're family, and that's a really exciting thing.
Okay, guys. So you on the panel probably can't hear that. I don't know if you could if you have the YouTube stream coming up right now. But basically, Aaron Greenberg is saying like, wow, he couldn't believe it. You know, the community couldn't believe it. Everybody couldn't believe it, and it's just amazing that they're all being able to work together because of the possibilities in the future as a family being able to work together. Centurion, what are your thoughts on like? And you can kick this off because anybody can chime in here. Like, what's your thoughts on the realization of what's to come? Not what has just happened, but what's to come. What are the new possibilities?
Man, the possibilities are completely endless right now because the amount of flexibility Microsoft provides to its developers can be seen in just the diverse amount of content that comes out of the first party studios from Xbox. You have a wide range of titles. We'll just look at Grounded, for example. Grounded is a game that is completely unique to the Xbox ecosystem. Same with Sea of Thieves. And I can only imagine some of the dreams and aspirations that the developers have had over at Bethesda. It was even mentioned by Todd Howard about how Game Pass creates an avenue for these developers to be able to explore new game ideas because they're no longer restricted behind the concept of how am I going to get somebody to pay their $39.99, $59.99, $79.99? How am I going to get them to pay their entry fee when they find out that Game Pass is now a way to give them a platform to try new concepts in games? Let's use Bleeding Edge, for example. Regretfully, it wasn't a knockout of the park for Ninja Theory. It was still a really great game and a passion project for them, and it was all made possible by Game Pass.
Yeah, dude. 100%. So you spoke about Todd Howard, or we're talking about Todd Howard and Game Pass right now. Which, if you heard that roundup thing, Todd Howard made some interesting comments about Game Pass.
Oh yeah,
dude. He's excited about the chance to deliver new ideas because of Game Pass, changing the way they develop games, and that's something that Psychonauts has reached out to me for on a looking at the future as well, of what's to come with the cloud and development as well. But Game Pass is going to create so many possibilities, and I believe everybody on the panel here is everybody here a member of Game Pass?
Oh yeah, Game Pass
Yeah.
Ultimate.
Yes.
Yeah.
All the passes of the games.
Is it better now, by the way?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yeah.
3-bit.
Okay.
dude. You want to know how many people have Game Pass? Remember back in the day when you'd get that code for Game Pass and you could put it in the chat and it would just be gone. Now you're like that dude just walking around with like a Game Pass. Does anybody need Game Pass? Does anybody need Game Pass? Does anybody not have
Yeah.
Game Pass? Honestly, it's hard to find somebody anymore who does not have a Game Pass subscription.
Yeah, you're right, man. I don't personally. I only know of a couple, and it's not because they aren't actually think Game Pass is a good value. It's just because they're so hardcore physical guys that they just believe in only physical, that they won't dive into Game Pass because of that. But they even acknowledge that, hey, Game Pass is like a great deal, and if I went that route, I would probably enjoy it. But I'm just gonna stick to my physical disc. Like, we all know a few people. There's some great people in the community that have that mentality and stuff. And that's okay, man. But like, this Game Pass thing is not going to stop, right? This Bethesda deal, as Phil Spencer said himself, is about Game Pass and bringing exclusive games to platforms which Game Pass exist. So let that sink in. They spent $7.5 billion to purchase a publisher to provide games to a platform which Game Pass exists. And that's talking about not just one platform, not just the Xbox console, but PCs, mobile devices, set-top boxes on TVs themselves through applications. The future is going to keep going. More and more and more things that are going to have Game Pass. Maybe other game consoles in the future. Who knows? Do you think, Pong, that we'll ever see like Game Pass on other consoles?
Yeah, I do. I think Nintendo is first. I think those talks have been ongoing for some time. And I think that Microsoft right now, again, like you said, Mav, we're coming in the golden age of gaming. And Microsoft is trying, probably is very close to have already succeeding in flipping the game, or at least putting themselves in on a different field, right? Just much like Nintendo has. Nintendo swims in their own pond. It doesn't matter what Sony, Microsoft does. Nintendo's Nintendo. Okay?
Nintendo will always be Nintendo. Nintendo will
Exactly,
stop being
lady.
Nintendo.
100%.
I know you Nintendo fans, and it's awesome. Like I said, I always respect the hustle out of Nintendo because they totally saw what they saw in the future. They decided they did not want to take losses on trying to build consoles, and they decided to go a totally different route, and they did that, and they've done it successfully. I mean, huge, right? And now you've got Microsoft, who found themselves in the unenviable position, last generation, of falling very far behind. And they looked at things, and obviously, there was a time and point when Microsoft may not be around today. Those decisions were being made. And I think it was important at that point that they realized, and this comes back to Phil and his team, that they realized that if they were going to stick this out, they had to go ahead and put themselves on a different playing field, and looking into the future, what they saw was streaming. And they had been seeing that for quite some time. Again, I don't think Game Pass was just a miracle, inspirational moment for Phil where he woke up out of a fevered dream and yelled out Game Pass. I don't think that happened, right? I think this had been in the works in the background, that they had kind of seen this. Again, Microsoft is always looking ahead. You don't become a $2 trillion company without seeing the future. That you have to. And they've pivoted many times throughout their history and realized that they were behind the 8 ball in a certain way and decided to go a different route. And you see this with Microsoft Office 365. How many people own Microsoft Office these days? They don't. They rent it. They buy, they have a subscription, right? And they knew that was the case. I mean, there was a time and point when they shipped it on every single computer that went out, right? Every single computer that went out had Microsoft Office. They got sued, right? Because it was considered a monopoly. They got antitrust suits against them for not allowing any competition. So what did they do? They said, fine. We're done. That's fine. Go ahead. You guys try to compete. You still know we bring the best product. You know what we're going to do now? We're just going to offer it as a service and let people subscribe to it. And it's not going to matter anymore. And guess what? There's still, uses anything but Microsoft Office these days, right? So again, we've seen this pivot before. Microsoft look at the gaming industry, and obviously Phil going into Satya, going into the board and saying, look, I want to make this a pillar of Microsoft Corp. What do we have to do? And they probably said, well, you got to convince us and our investors that this is worthwhile. And how are we going to do this if you guys can't compete with Sony 1-for-1 on a console basis, right? And we don't have the studios to compete right now, and we don't want to spend a ton of money. What are you going to do? Phil probably went back to the group of guys who had been pushing Game Pass previously and probably said, all right, guys, we got to come up with this, and we got to come up with a great idea, and we got to wow these guys, and we got to show them that this is going to be profitable as long as they are willing to invest. That's what started this transition. And so I think now what's happening, and this is a long way around your question, Mav, but it's kind of important to understand the history. I think now once
that's a long way, that was definitely a long way.
It is a long way. It's important to understand the history of where this came from, because you can see the chess moves that are being made. And I know 4D chess is now overused and has been overused, and it's a stupid term. But anyways, when you're talking about a big corporation like this, they are thinking 10, 15, 20 years down the road and trying to read the future. What they did was, once they decided to go this route, and once they had the commitment from the highest levels, Satya, the investors, everybody, then they said, okay, how are we going to move ourselves to a different field and put everybody in check, okay? And that started this plan. What you see with the Bethesda acquisition, it's not the last acquisition.
Yeah,
what
Satya has already said that himself.
Correct.
Right.
It's not. And what they're going to do is, and they may have already done it, it's getting very close, especially if Game Pass gets to the number of subscribers they want. Let's say by the end of this year, they're 30. Let's say by the end of next year, they're at 50. Okay, you're talking about check. Okay, because what happens is they are going to buy at least one more publisher, some more studios. They might buy 2 more publishers before this is all said and done. And what they're going to do is they're going to house one of the largest collections of IPs, gaming industry and completely, right? And if these other platforms, Sony and Nintendo, want that on their system, they're going to have to allow Game Pass. And there's going to become a time and point where Sony's looking around, and it's possible. And again, I'm not downing Sony. Sony's not dying off. Sony's not going anywhere. They're going to be here. They're too good. But the point being is Sony might start looking around and going, we're out of option. You can buy second and third party exclusivity, but guess what? Microsoft owns most of the second and third party exclusivity because it's all first party for Microsoft now. What are we going to do? We can't just continue offering our customers, first party titles, maybe 2, 3, 4 a year in a good year, which are all going to be A+ titles, but we can only offer that. Our customers don't have really those big third party titles to buy. So what are we going to do? Check. And then it becomes checkmate. And I think that's Sony's point. Again, it's going to take a lot longer for Sony to come to that realization. They're going to do their stuff, and I think there's a lot of fight left here before we get to that point.
Yeah.
Nintendo, again, those conversations have been ongoing for a while. Phil has obviously done a great job creating this relationship with Nintendo. I think it doesn't hurt Nintendo to do it at all because the simple fact is there's not a lot of competing titles. I know everybody says, well, third-party titles. Guess what? You can make a special type of Game Pass that doesn't include certain third-party titles, that only includes Microsoft first-party titles, like a sectioned off Game Pass, and offer it to the Nintendo customers. And really, Microsoft's games don't compete directly with any of Nintendo's first-party games.
No, really, right now, Sony's 100. If you're being honest,
not really.
Right.
No, but Sony and their future plans, they're bringing back. They're going to bring back some. They're
starting to go more of the Xbox route with a lot of their business decisions right now, right?
Right, and I think they've got some multiplayer games in the works, so they're going to come back. They're going to try. Yeah. They're going to definitely try to capture some of the audience. But with Nintendo, it doesn't matter. There's no competing titles there. All they're going to be simply doing is offering their customers a separate set of games that may appeal to other people.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not going to lose any money. They're going to make some money off the transactions. And Microsoft itself gets opened up to 70, 80, 100, 150 million people that do own Nintendo products. And I think that's where it makes sense. And then the Switch itself becomes the Xbox handheld, which Microsoft doesn't seem to have any interest in jumping back into that market again. All of a sudden the Switch Lite is your handheld, and then everybody has access to those games. So yeah, I definitely think this is
it makes sense to me. So one thing I think happened was the last generation early on, Xbox lost its cool card, right? Xbox lost, it became lame to be Xbox, right? And especially with the younger crowd. I was
never lame.
Well, I was never lame too. I rode with them. I ride or died, right? Pong left and then he came back.
We all did.
But you know what? There is a large group, especially with the younger crowd, because they grew up in that way thinking Xbox isn't cool like PlayStation is, right? And it's because people forgot the 360 and how great it was, and the Xbox, the original
long
Xbox.
Generation. That's what happened. It was a long generation.
Yeah,
PlayStation
7 years.
Of overcoming Xbox in ways that I always saw the fucking good qualities of Xbox, so I can see that, but that's coming because we're just older.
Yeah, exactly. We look at it from a perspective.
Xbox. When I worked in the retail industry, in that people would come in, they're like, okay, so what should I buy, a PlayStation or an Xbox? And this was mid-gen. And I was like, well, it kind of I was that person that was like, okay, so where are your friends fucking playing? Or what did you have before? Mm-hmm. Because are you coming from Xbox and wanting to go to PlayStation? Because for me, interface was huge. It was a huge thing for me. I felt more comfortable on Xbox. So, I don't think that Xbox really was uncool. I just think that it definitely, in the community of gamers and the it had a lot of losses. But
I'm thinking in the casual crowd, it's not as much in the hardcore crowd.
With the PS3, PS3 didn't even have party chat.
Yeah,
and different features like that. It wasn't until PS4 when they started to implement the features that's been in Xbox Live. So I think for
But
a
then
lot
the
of
place
people,
it was so clunky. Like for me, like I guess I
Yeah,
just couldn't
yeah.
get
If I could
anything.
hop in real quick, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
I had a PS3 and an Xbox 360, and I played on both. And you got to remember, at those times, PlayStation had free you could play online for free, and I still preferred Xbox. And it's kind of the reason why I preferred it is because it felt like on PlayStation, their online at the time was like the Wild West. I mean, you could like literally. I remember one time getting completely cussed out by some dude from Japan. Sorry if you can hear the street down the road, by the way.
I
live
thought it
near
was a
Drake.
toilet,
good.
so it's a. I'm glad
No,
that it's a
no.
street.
I live right next to a very straight piece of road that people just love to drag race down.
Yeah,
So
nice,
it's
man.
Friday night. You might hear a couple.
That's normal.
Sorry. But
You're fine.
anyways, yeah, I just remember one night I was playing Resistance to Fall of Man online, and I got completely cussed out by somebody from Japan because it would like show you the little flag on top of their head from where they were playing at the time because the network was so small. And at that point, I was just completely alienated by the network, and I had just shifted and made all my friends on Xbox. And when I got my Xbox One, it was the same thing. I just continued growing all my friends on my Xbox. I played all my exclusives on my PlayStation, and it's kind of been that way ever since.
Right on. I got a question for Mars here though, because I think
Yes.
she's closest to the age group that I'm speaking of.
Mhm.
I think going around like 7 years ago or so you would have been like 14, I guess 13, 14. Were you gaming?
2014?
Yeah, this is 2013,
Oh, yeah.
2014. When were you gaming at that time? Like, were you
Oh,
like?
I was gaming my whole life.
Okay, so were you playing on Xbox at the time? Were you playing on like PlayStation, or what were you playing on?
We had a 360 and we did have a PS3. From my personal experience, the PS3 was only good for DC Universe Online. I was
Yeah.
I was more into like
awesome.
I was playing Halo. I
Yeah.
was playing stuff on the Xbox. But
Going to school. My question is, going to school at that
Mhm.
time, did you see around you that all the kids were more PlayStation based, or like, or do you think it was pretty even?
that time it felt like more people were playing Xbox. It just felt like they had better options, but even now among my peers, it's 99% PlayStation. It's always like PlayStation and all they're playing is God of War and 2K. But yeah, so like I mean I grew up with PlayStation, like Spyro, Sly Cooper. And then when it was 360, that felt like even among my peers, that was the system until PlayStation shifted back with the PS4.
Right. So
Yeah.
with the PS4 generation, you saw like a shift? You think?
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Like-
So are you seeing that shift back now? Because, I mean, I know you're not in high school anymore, but but obviously like from peers, like the younger crowd. Because I don't know, like you're probably the only 21-year-old I actually speak to now. But,
I hope so.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
I have
Love it.
out of
We'll
all
find
my
out on
friends I
Twitter.
know, it's kind of like the Android versus iPhone
Yeah.
debate. People, whatever they have, they're
Uh-huh.
very stuck on.
Team
I
Android.
switched.
99% PlayStation.
What'd you switch to?
I switched to Android.
am I
switched to
committing
iPhone.
reverse ageism right now?
Okay.
No,
a
it's
little bit?
okay.
No,
But I would
I'm just
say-
curious about the perspective, because like it's
I mean-
different depending on when you grew up, like
With
you're thinking.
PlayStation, PS5 outsold among like my peers. I do not know anyone with an Xbox Series X or any of that. It's
They
all
actually
PS5.
got a PlayStation because holy fuck, go peers. Wow.
Everyone got PS5s. That's it. That's all
Wow.
they want is
Sweet.
PS5.
Mm.
And it's not because they prefer it. I think it's because they think it's better. They don't actually know like graphic differences. They're like, oh, it's better. It's like, why? Like, it just is. And
The internet tells me so.
mhm.
It's all behind Sony's marketing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But Sony's
Just-
been great at marketing.
Just look at the debacle with Red Dead Redemption 2. I mean, you could literally walk into a store and people thought that this game was exclusive because PlayStation put it on the box like PlayStation exclusive and didn't read the fine print that it was actually a hat that you got in the game that was the PlayStation exclusive. But just because they threw those words on the box bigger than what you got, people just automatically gravitated to this concept of, oh, it's exclusively on PlayStation.
I mean,
Kind of
they
like
had
Destiny Cologne.
They had a marketing campaign for a while that I think it's on the PS4 that, hey, you can play better. You're a better gamer if you play on PS4 because at the time, Xbox One was a little underpowered. So they had that whole marketing campaign.
Oh,
where-
1080p makes you a better gamer.
Yeah, there you go. 1080p makes you a better gamer.
Yeah,
So
the whole power initiative.
Dude, it was crazy. Like, just the people who would come in and absolutely like bash Xbox. Like, how do you even? How are you? Oh, you play Xbox? I legit had people who wouldn't even deal with me as a GameStop employee because I fucking played on Xbox. Like, they're like, oh, what do you play on PlayStation? I generally don't play on PlayStation. And they would be like, oh, well, can I talk to somebody who plays on PlayStation? I'm like, why?
wow.
Right. I mean, it was better than the people who would come in and be like, can I talk to a male? But I mean, it still had, it's like, okay, well, like, what's so different than what you're doing on the PlayStation? Yes. I mean, for me, it always comes down to exclusives. Like, that is, at the end of the day, it's going to come down to exclusives for me. And that's where fucking PlayStation has been winning. And that's why for the past fucking generation, PlayStation kind of came up and beyond. I don't think it was graphics. I don't think it was anything like that. And I think Xbox sees that now. And that's why we have these new studios and these new games on the forefront because of that fucking reason. And I don't think it has anything to do with the hardware or anything like that. It comes down to the games. And
well, Xbox is still struggling from 2013. All that debacle.
That launch was rough. Like, it was it was rough. It was horrible. I mean, it
was a shit show.
Looking back on it, it was so I come from the Halo community, early Halo community, kind of moving into the Destiny community, and all of my friends were picking up, new gen right when Destiny was launching. So many of us had Xboxes pre-ordered, and then we found out that Bungie had signed with PlayStation, and that PlayStation was gonna get the exclusives. So almost everybody dropped Xbox and pre-ordered the fucking PlayStation 4. It was insane. It was like just the craziest thing. I'm like, but Xbox, like, I'm still gonna be here. I'm not getting a PlayStation 4. Like, there was nothing in me that even like was like, oh no, I need that.
So that shows how powerful marketing is.
Yes,
right?
And how powerful
because
gatekeeping is.
The product itself, honestly, had better exclusives at launch than the PS4. If you go back, the shift actually happened after the initial wave because of popularity. I think games were being abandoned because of the fallout from the poor marketing at the launch of the Xbox One. And they have rebounded so far from where they have fallen to the... Go ahead, man.
Oh, I just wanted to say, I feel like it was beyond poor marketing. I have no problem pointing my finger at Donnie D going, I didn't need the world's next DVR.
Yeah,
dude, definitely,
man.
There was a misdirection that even Phil Spencer comes out and says that there was internal struggles with the hardware developers trying to stomach the idea that they weren't pushing gaming first, that they were trying to go for some kind of entertainment box.
Yeah.
But look where we are now, right? So like to have that happen, to have this now where Microsoft has not only doubled down, but they've tripled down, and they're going to quadruple down on Xbox, right? It has become such a focal point of their brand because of Phil Spencer. And I'm not like, oh, I love you, Phil Spencer, all these things, but let's just be real here. That guy has completely changed the trajectory of Microsoft as a gaming company and what Xbox has done, and gaming as a whole is impacted forever because of him. And that was a huge shift when they made that Bethesda acquisition, and that's happened now, and it's only going to get crazier. As y'all were saying, more acquisitions, more things to come, and more possibilities because of that. And so we're no longer having to worry about this, like, hey, is Xbox really serious about this? You know, like, are we, like, what do we expect? Or what's the next game cancellation? Is Scalebound going to get canceled? I mean, all this stuff that we had to go through this past generation, it's now the talk is, who are they going to buy next? What else is coming to Game Pass? Is that game on Game Pass? Is that game on Game Pass? When you tell me a game's coming out, I always ask, hey, is it on Game Pass? Dude, that's like the transition that's happened over freaking 7 years now from that point to where we are now is baffling. And if you put that into perspective with what's to come, if they keep the current momentum over the next 10 years, because they were talking about a 10-year roadmap that they got the chance to sit down and discuss the other day, he said, and they're just like, hey, they're just throwing stuff out there. They don't know if it's going to happen. You know, they don't know what else is going to happen, but they're talking about this stuff. And it's time for us to get to talk about that.
Yeah.
What
it's
is
been
possible?
A very interesting generation, because if you do think about it and you sort of rewind to that time frame, it was very much the marketing points that where Xbox lost the most, because they did start off with a solid amount of exclusives at launch, right?
Yeah.
But it was like very much later on when they started losing basically different marketing wars, like you were saying. Destiny was one of them. Call of Duty was another one. In the previous generation, Call of Duty was very much
Xbox.
marketed towards Xbox, right? The 360 community was very strong. 360 won most of the generation until PlayStation 3. Towards the end is when it started to catch up, and then that, you know, eventually the new consoles came out, and then very much when the Xbox One launched, you had a couple things against it. You had the always online thing. Here's the thing: a lot of the things that Xbox One was initially launching with, like the messaging, is kind of like normalized right now. Like, it's stuff we kind of want.
We're accepting
or
it,
accepting now, which is it's like, I don't think a lot of people was ready for that technology at the time.
No.
But some
I
of those
agree with that.
features were kind of cool.
Remember,
Some of those features
asking
were
your
pretty
Xbox
cool.
to turn on was a complete blasphemy, but now you can order Tide Pods by just asking your Alexa or whatever it's called.
Oh yeah.
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 So the
don't
time it
use
came
Tide.
out, people weren't ready for it, I don't think. I think some of those features, if it were to come out for the Series X, not always online, but some of the other features, like being able to rent your friends' games that you have, and like basically lending games digital, like a license, that was a really cool idea, which I would love to see come back to some capacity. But yeah, it was a mixture of marketing and some of the smaller battles they were losing. It started to add up, and it didn't help that a lot of the games they did have, like Sunset Overdrive, didn't receive like support from Microsoft afterwards. And Phil always talks about how that was a regret of his, you know,
Right.
how they handled a game like that. I feel like the newer Xbox, if they were to come out with a Sunset Overdrive, I would have got that studio right away. But the older Xbox, Phil was kind of transitioning to that position, if I remember correctly. He was basically climbing on up in the positions of where he is now, basically the head of Xbox. But yeah, it was just bad timing, and Sony has always been amazing at just pushing out these exclusives and creating these sort of movie experiences. But at the same time, if you look at what people are playing, it's not really exclusives right away. It's always like a 2K, it's like a Madden. So that's where the marketing really like comes into play, because these people aren't, yeah, they might play exclusives like when it first launches or whatever, but what are the majority of people playing? It's not exclusives, and that's where Game Pass is going to really push the envelope. I
Absolutely.
think, because it's just a better value overall. It's just, it's kind of crazy. I feel bad sometimes when I'm like downloading a game. I'm like, can I do this? Is this?
It feels like you're stealing. Like you didn't pay a cent for it. I'm like,
yeah,
And it is
feels
crazy
weird.
how it feels like.
Yeah.
And you know, usually at the end of the show we have the Game Pass game of the week. Like they just, okay, Game Pass game of the week is Bethesda. You know what I like?
Yeah.
Hey, all of the 20. Now we already had some of them in there, but they added a lot more. So like this week, 20 Bethesda games is entering in. There's more that are gonna. I think the other ones is because they're implementing the FPS boost, which they just announced as well.
They're not entering in though. Like I mean, there's 20 completely on. There was already like 6 of those.
Yeah,
were
that's what
already
I'm
on
saying.
there.
There was already some on there, but there's a lot that they just added, right? So, and some of them they're implementing FPS boost on, which aren't in there yet.
Which is amazing. Prey.
Right. Prey,
Yeah.
Fallout 4,
People
Fallout
listen.
76 even, which is an online service game, is getting it. So that may help that game a lot.
As
Have
a
any of you
Fallout
checked
fan,
out any of these boosted games?
I don't
Not
I
quite
don't know
yet.
if they're available
No.
yet.
No,
they?
they are.
Yeah.
Are
I've
they?
been
Did they?
playing them.
Okay.
No,
The
I've already.
Bethesdas.
Well, not the ones that you're naming, but we're talking.
Oh, no,
like,
I did. I-
like Far Cry 4.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. Far
Yeah,
Cry
yeah.
4 was
Super lucky
incredible.
Division
tail
two.
at 120.
Far Cry 4 was so good.
Division
too.
2.
Dude, go play Far Cry 4
Oh my
now
God,
on a
don't even
Series
get me
X,
on
and it's a
Division.
completely different game.
Yeah, dude, it
completely
is.
different game. I enjoy it. The draw distance on that game is awesome. Like it's a completely different game. I'm actually replaying Far Cry 4 because of boost mode.
I don't even think I could replay Fallout 4 just because of how much fucking time I put into
No,
it the
not
first
Fallout,
time.
Far Cry.
Or Far Cry. That's what I meant. Yeah,
Yeah,
Far
yeah.
Cry 4.
But hey, man,
Sorry.
Pagan Min, that's one of those memorable characters. There's just it's Far Cry.
It was, it sucks because Far Cry 4 was like the last like one that when I finished it, I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm done with the series because that was the game that I played for the best. 3 was good, but it was still Far Cry. It was so Far Cry that I didn't have any will to buy the next Far Cry. Like that's really where I was.
Oh wow, because
Well,
you really
Far Cry
missed
3
out
is
on
great.
Far Cry 5 with the father. I mean, that the actor who played him,
He was a great
man.
character.
I
yeah.
think you should be able to win like awards on like the Academy Awards and stuff for acting. I mean, he really brought that character to life.
Yeah, he did a good job on that. And one thing I really like about Far Cry is the fact that every villain is sort of distinct.
Their
and
villains
different.
are so good.
Yeah, their villains. Like I
Really,
feel like
really
that's the Far Cry series in itself. Is the villains
yeah.
are the most iconic part.
It started with 3.
That's what like 3 with Voss, and they just kind of
Yeah.
like fucking held on to that, and they were like, "This is gonna be our thing."
Well, that's
And
Ubisoft's MO. Once they have something that works, they implement it in every
We're gonna
game
do it.
going forward.
Just do
you
it
know?
over and over and
Movie.
over.
Well,
Yeah.
they even make jokes about it. Look at
Yeah.
Far Cry 5. The first thing they did, they had you climb to the top of a tower and survey, and then they had the guy
Yeah.
jokingly be like, "Yeah, we're messing around. We're not going to have you do this the whole game."
I don't remember
Yeah.
that. That's funny. Yeah, Far Cry 3 was like a classic in terms of like for me in terms of the villain and how they did Voss. Like the actual actor too, he would do like these little short videos. I don't know if you guys seen those. And he was like dunking this guy's head in sand and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Great stuff. But in terms of like the FPS boosts for Bethesda, I don't know. Is that a thing right now, or will that
The
come
Bethesda
later?
games haven't. I don't think
coming.
have happened yet, but the other ones
Not yet.
have.
Yeah.
You look like you're gonna say something,
Announced
babe.
it.
Yeah, I want to interrupt this conversation because we have something to talk about.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay. All right, guys. So, I got something to play for all of you on the podcast. This is going to be a special surprise. And I want 3-Bit to make sure that he has a way to listen to this. So, 3-Bit, could you please turn on the YouTube channel and at least have the audio on very low? And I suggest
will turn on.
Here, I'll mute. and turn my
I
volume
suggest
up.
maybe you guys mute yourselves here for a second. And now something happened when we were streaming the other night because we play games together all the time. And 3-Bit said something, and I told him I was gonna get him good on Xbox Ultimate, and the time has come. The time is now. And I've been excited for this. So I apologize for some of it because I'm really horrible at part of it, but it was all in fun. And I hope you guys enjoy. Now, the second half is a joke. The first half is for context. You need the context. Okay. So here we go.
You fell off a horse?
I did. I fell off a horse.
I got chased by a horse when I was a kid.
Did
Dude, I got chased by geese.
I fell off a pony, and that was the last time I rode.
That is the most private thing I've ever.
So how big
Pony.
are you exactly? Are you like a small?
Was it a
I was
Sony
like-
pony or was it like?
I think I was like 15. I wish I was younger.
What were you doing riding a pony when you were 15? Did you go on a pony ride when you were 15? Wait a second. Hold on. Reverse. I have more questions now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do I have to answer
So, were you riding a horse
We
or a
need to
fucking
know.
pony when you were 15 years old? Were you at a carnival doing one of those little pony rides? You fell off, and when you were 15, and it was so traumatic, you'd never get on another pony again.
Do I have to answer this?
Fucking great, guys! Holy shit! 3-bit. Oh man, dude, this is the fucking.
It's just wrong.
3-bit. Be prepared for fucking
no.
Xbox Ultimate this week, dude. I'm gonna get you so fucking good, man. Oh gosh.
Oh
Fucking
man,
pony.
not again. Oh,
Yeah, it took
man.
Kaylee rode a pony like a couple years ago at at Candy Canes for Kids.
Listen, it was going fast, okay?
It was probably thinking, what the fuck is this 15-year-old doing on me?
All right, later, Stubbs. This is for you, 3-bit. You know we love you, right? Yeah. 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 I'm just a 3-bit looking for a pony.
I don't even remember that because I was so
One
drunk.
that I can ride.
That
Flawless.
all happened.
I'm 15 years old. When I see that pony, I'm gonna jump on it.
was so
I
good.
hope I'm not
So
too
good.
big, cause I wanna
my
really
God, the
take
images.
that
Are you looking at
ride.
my YouTube
You're
right
3-bit, let's do it. Ride it, that pony. That saddle's too small. It's meant for a kid.
Stop. I have to hide myself when I laugh like that. I'm sorry.
Okay. So, I think it's over now.
I'm so glad I was here for this. Like, I'm
Okay.
so glad I was here.
That was an
Oh my
experience.
God.
Okay, guys.
Oh,
You know,
So,
after
3-bit thoughts?
oh
I'm
my gosh, I was
crying.
crying. That was so funny.
so I've known 3-bit for about 6 years.
What was
now.
that? Why?
This is the first I've ever heard of this. And
So
I'm
you've
not
known him since
surprised.
he rode on the pony.
I'm not
Oh my gosh.
surprised. It sounds about right.
Oh, that's going up
Wow.
on YouTube after also. Just to let
I'm
you know.
sending this.
I didn't think you would actually do it.
3-bit. I'm
Um,
gonna send this to Jalen as well with a timestamp.
Yeah.
He needs to know.
I was literally crying. That was really funny.
Oh my god, that was awesome.
Yeah. So
Yes,
I,
that was a
maybe
true story.
maybe I
I did
spent
fall.
a little too much time on that. I don't know.
You added a song.
I made
The
a song.
harmony was amazing.
It's a
Yeah,
whole harmony.
the vocals were the best. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
The little-
gosh.
Yeah, I'm sorry about the vocals, everybody, and the beat was a little off at times. I tried my best, but I had to. If I
It
could
was
have just gotten Genuine to do it, I would have, but copyright and all.
Oh my
Uh,
god, could we have had Genuine? Because, if you
Do that one for
want
Lady.
it, jump
Okay.
on it.
Thank you for that, Mav.
Hey,
Oh
you're
my
welcome.
God.
I hope it brought a smile to your face.
It did. It did.
I was about to cry.
I did fall
That
off
now
a
needs
pony.
more wine.
Yeah.
I need some more wine now.
So was
yeah,
it a
I
pony?
did fall off. It was a pony. Yes, I did fall off a pony.
It looked
I
like
just-
any of the ones in the picture. Which one did it look like?
The third one.
The
I
third
mean,
one.
I don't
The
know.
third
I'm gonna go
one.
back. Can we see that
Oh.
again?
Oh man.
Oh wow, that was great. Thank you.
Yeah,
for that.
you're welcome. It's a tribute because I love you. I had to, man. You know, you just slip out there that you rode a pony when you were 15 years old, and you think it's not going to come back to bite you in the ass at some point. You got a sad thing. You got a wrong. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying right now.
Good
I'm
enough.
sorry, guys. You got another thing
no.
coming, Mister. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But I just want to throw it out there that if you guys really like that clip, you should join the fucking team on Halo nights when we're fucking streaming, because that's
Yeah.
the shit that happens.
So everybody,
It's really fun.
That's the stuff that happens.
that is the kind of stuff that happens on Xbox Ultimate After Hours, when after the podcast we play Halo Master Chief Collection every Friday night. I hope you come in and join in the fun. It's going to be a blast. We're going to have a grand old time. Xbox Ultimate After Hours.
And join the Discord.
Yeah, and join the Discord as well.
Mars,
Be
good
prepared
throwing
for
that
some
out.
craziness on there. Babe, you might want to put the link, if you can, in the chat for me. I would greatly appreciate
You can. She's a
If
fucking
anyone
hardcore
has
rock
clips
star.
of Mav, please send it to 3bit on Twitter. Okay.
Oh man.
All right, 3-bit. We're gonna get something tonight. Don't worry.
Oh, I got him
Yeah.
on Facebook.
Okay,
I'll go
yeah.
to the oldest pictures and send them to y'all.
Okay.
Oh, wait, hold on. I got a good picture. Mav, I'm going to send you something in a second.
Oh, anything
Oh.
that we can use, I'm all for it. So now that was a big distraction. I'm sorry, but we had to.
Yeah.
Now I want to get back to Bethesda somehow.
Somehow.
Talking about ponies. Has
now-
anybody played Skyrim?
Did you unlock that? You know what, 3-bit? You should have
Yeah.
paid for the horse armor. That would have helped.
I think I did.
Yeah, you did on Oblivion. You got the horse armor.
Yeah,
Right
I
on.
think so.
So
Totally worth it. That was the first DLC I bought. Either that or it was like the Halo 2 they had like a blast pack or whatever it was called. On the Halo
Right on.
2. You guys remember that? No. It's pretty
No.
good.
Oh, also a quick shout out to anybody listening to this on audio. You're probably not going to get anything that was just happening, so you may want to go back and watch the YouTube. Let's go back around. I see Psychonauts is back, and Psychonauts actually had a topic he wanted to bring up about the golden age and what's coming for the future. So you want to go ahead and kick that off, man?
Yeah. So what I really wanted to talk about was what really no one is talking about was with the whole Bethesda deal. Other than games and what they acquired, is that they got Orion. Now Orion is a pen cloud SDK. So what they could do is sorry.
No, you're fine, dude.
So they can stream games at max settings with little to almost no hit on latency or your bandwidth.
Right.
And so it like they demonstrated Doom 16 at the
Right.
2019 E3. And,
Yeah.
and they're running it 4K 60 on a smartphone. So, an
Sorry,
xCloud.
3-bit's like still cracking up.
Oh, is he?
Are you okay, man?
Discord.
Oh my god.
I
Gotta
think
see the
he's the Discord. Okay. Yeah,
I'm okay.
there's stuff going on.
I'm good.
Discord.
I'm
It's
good.
under Show Yourself.
Show
Uh,
yourself. Okay.
Ah.
All right. So
Oh my
SDK, and they can stream basically super high quality with like almost no latency, right?
Exactly. Yeah, because xCloud right now is only able to stream at 720p at 30 FPS. So with Orion being integrated with xCloud, now they can have 4K 60 with no bandwidth hit, and you don't have, and it doesn't matter where you live to where the data centers are. So you can be anywhere and you still get flawless game streaming. And that's big because you need 4K or 5G for wireless, or at least 5 GHz Wi-Fi to even play um, with xCloud. So it's definitely going to supercharge xCloud, and to me, I think it's going to change everything. It's going to be a game changer when once they implement that into xCloud,
Yeah, and
the streaming service.
And you had a clip that you sent me that you asked me to play. This is basically Phil
Yeah.
Spencer just saying like, now some people that are like hardcore PlayStation guys are taking these comments and saying, oh, they're abandoning consoles. That's not what this is talking about. What he's talking about is the inevitable future of game design because of advanced technologies that are available in the future, right? And in order to be in the lead, you have to lead with technology and be on the forefront. And Xbox is doing that with xCloud. They're doing it with possibly Orion playing into there a little bit. And this clip kind of goes into what Phil Spencer's thinking is on the long-term future of gaming. So I'm going to play that right now.
When we look in the future, we see a world where game creators will natively be building cloud-based games first. They will think first about their game running in the cloud with almost unlimited access to the hardware capability that's available in a data center. They'll be able to scale the capabilities of their games up and down, potentially hosting hundreds of thousands of players in a game, or making use of multiple CPUs and GPUs in the cloud to deliver experiences that no local hardware could unlock. When we look at
All right, guys. So basically, he's just saying, like, in the future, the cloud is going to be far superior to what any local hardware is going to be capable of doing, right? Because you're talking about, you guys are killing me, right? You guys are talking about, they're talking about like stuff that you would need like multiple console powers to be able to produce. Just the stuff that's like super advanced, like multiple GPUs. Being able to produce game experiences that are at bigger worlds. They talk about stuff with like hundreds of thousands of players online interacting and stuff, and like that's the vision. And Xbox is like getting on the forefront of that to drive that technology forward, so that way they stay in the lead. So that's
yeah.
a big. That's I think is a big deal.
Yeah, and it's right with Game Pass. It's Game Pass Ultimate. It's in there. No extra charge, no nothing. And and Phil stated that the Xbox One and PC and possible the Series X and Series S are going to get the xCloud app onto the console, and that itself is huge. So imagine being able to play a cloud streaming game on your console and having it on lock at max settings if you're playing on Xbox One, or if you're playing on Xbox Series S, and those are not 4K 60 consoles, and imagine you're able to play those max settings for whatever game they implement Orion to. So I mean, it's huge. I mean, one game that's kind of using that is right now is Flight Sim is using the cloud powered graphics enhancement. So you're starting to see it now. And then with Orion being put in, it's just going to escalate that more. So I mean, it's it's great.
Lady's just pouring herself, like making a mixed drink right now, I think.
I am.
Hey, that's
Sorry.
awesome. No, dude, Psychonauts, 100%, you're right, man. That is the way of the future for sure. And that's part of this whole Xbox thing. That's why they're investing so much in all these games and all this stuff, is to be on the forefront of that and that's Bethesda and Game Pass is all part of that. It's all part of that. That's why we're entering into this golden age. Pong, you got any thoughts on that, dude?
Yeah, I mean, technology was a huge part of this purchase. Like Psychonauts was just explaining with the Orion, that's been well known, and I believe actually a lot of the tech. And again, I'm not a tech guy, but I know basics and I listen to a lot of people. But I think, and maybe 3-Bit knows too, that the id Tech engine, one of their main engineers, is actually now over at Azure, running the servers. So, and that's why that was a big piece of why they wanted Bethesda on top of ZeniMax, on top of everything else, was because of all the tech. They're very familiar with the tech. And you heard Phil specifically talk about sharing id Tech amongst all the studios so that the studios have it. The id Tech engine is one of the best in the business. It's up there. And to have access to it from all these other studios now that Microsoft is working with, and that have underneath that umbrella, have that access to the id Tech engine is only going to mean that we get to see better games come out of it at the end of the day. So, I mean, obviously we know Coalition are, Unreal masters. I mean, they are the masters of what they do with the Unreal, but the Unreal engine is licensed. That's licensed tech. Microsoft has never really owned its own engine, and now it does. Even though it didn't create it, they now own an engine, and they could wind up licensing that out as well, which is another moneymaker. But the Orion tech is very interesting because of the demo that they showed. Now, again, demo versus it working across, millions of different devices all over the world. It's two totally separate things, but there was enough people that saw the behind. And I remember when they did that, I think it was an E3 presentation that did a closed door presentation of Orion. And there was people coming out of there just blown away of what they showed. And obviously with the two teams now coming together, with the engineers from Microsoft and the engineers over at Bethesda coming together and implementing that tech and finding out how they can piece it in, and then maybe taking bits and pieces from each side and developing that tech even further so that does have real world applications. Obviously, again, Golden Age, Mav, we're talking about something that's going to break down barriers when it comes to people streaming to different devices these games, because that's one of the biggest barriers right now, is that streaming is nowhere near as good as hardware based play, right? The streaming is just not up to par, and that's going to be the next big leap that's going to take before we start to move into that area where people start going, do we really need hardware anymore? And we already know, and I know that's a while. I think we still got a generation or two left of actual hardware before we get to that point. However, this could really speed it up. And then what you're going to see is that subtle shift over where streaming no longer, when people, you get the app on your TV and you got a controller hooked up to it, and there's really no difference between the two, whether you pop it on your console, whether you pop it through the app. And that's going to increase the adoption rate that people have for this stuff, right? And once you get to that point, then it's no return. Because then everybody's going to be all in. Because if I can get the same quality, whether I'm playing on my phone, whether I'm playing on my app on my TV, or whether I'm playing on a console or a high-end PC, that's when that's it. It's over with. That means streaming is going to start dominating everything. And we heard Phil in that, I believe it was a developer kind of conference where he was coming, his office interview, the famous office interview with all the shelf stuff. He was talking about applying the development of games actually in the cloud, so that it's a shared space, but it has the power of X number of consoles where all the developers can get together and develop a game directly in the cloud, and there will be no difference from it having to go to console. You won't have to create special sessions to test out the game, to do bug fixes and all that stuff. It'll just be right in the cloud for all these developers, which is going to cut down on costs. It's going to cut down on time. And we're going to see an increase in the quality of the product that comes out at the end of the day. So again, Microsoft always thinking Xbox is a part of Microsoft. That's why I continue to say Microsoft. It's one of those things. Microsoft itself, 10, 15, 20 years down the line, they're already thinking about that tech. And like Psychonauts was just talking about, Orion's one piece of the tech they got. id Tech engine is another piece that they got out of this deal. Both of them huge pieces, not something they put out front to us gamers, because to us gamers, yeah, we know about id Tech engine, but it's not what we're excited for per se. We want to see the games. That's all we really care about at the end of the day. But the behind the scenes stuff with what they acquired, That's where you come in with $7.5 billion.
Heck yeah, man. Hey, Mars,
Oh,
when
yeah.
you're at, I'm not trying to get you fired right now, but when you're at work and you're hanging out with us playing,
Mhm.
what do you play on?
My phone.
Right. And more and more people are playing games on their phone, especially like kids. Like my daughter had played on an iPad years before she got onto Xbox, right? But like adults are that those kids grow up into people like Mars. And they continue playing games on mobile. I have never been a mobile guy, like as far as gaming. But do you think xCloud Mars is like the future of like how people are going to experience like high level gameplay?
I feel like obviously I feel like it's gonna be how it is today, how people like play games on their phones, but then they go home and play on the system. But I feel like it's gonna be really popular, especially like among gamers, because even now, like Call of Duty Mobile, I was really into that. I'd play it. We're playing like a full game, 20 players match from mobile, from anywhere, so you don't have to go home, connect your system. I feel like it's going to be really big within the gaming community, because it's very available. It's just readily available. You can get your friends to get a game right then and there. So I would definitely feel like it's going to be pretty big. I feel like it's going to be maybe not primary, but close to.
Right.
Yeah.
So
if I
yeah.
could jump in, like when what Pong was talking about with the different engines, like the basically the idtech engine and what that's capable of, and they had like a brief moment in the round table when they talked about sharing technology. I think that's going to be really amazing with the new edition of Bethesda, because right now they do share technology. The Sea of Thieves engine with the water, I know they share that with different studios who ask them like how do they do that water, especially for multiplayer. If you think about the technology for Sea of Thieves, like being able to everyone sees the same wave, right? That's actually very difficult for like multiplayer when everyone's supposed to see the same thing at the same time, especially if someone's like miles away. Like a challenge, I guess, like when you play the game Prey. I don't know how many of you guys played Prey, but the very beginning of Prey, the introduction is like everything is sort of geared to your perspective, like the mirror aspect of everything. If you guys play, you know what I'm talking about. But that technology is just and is awesome. But basically that doesn't work in multiplayer. So the fact that these technologies are now going to be shared with the idtech engine, and Phil, you could tell he was a big fan of it. It's going to be incredible. Like when you're playing Doom, it just feels like the most polished game. It feels like the most polished game I've ever played.
It looks gorgeous.
It looks gorgeous. It's like
And later you're on mute.
So, yeah, it's really good.
There you go.
What were you gonna say, lady? Are you gonna say?
I said Doom is just so fucking good. Like it's seamless. When you're playing it, it's like first person shooter takes the stage. It does it so right. There's so few first person shooters out there that does fucking what it does as well as Doom does. So I just think that's where and it's so, I mean, it's not super underrated, but it's underrated in people who are not like in the gaming community.
Yeah.
The engine is insane.
Oh yeah.
And I would love to see
it
like
is.
that in ODST 2, like you were saying earlier, Mav. Like Halo having that engine would be insane.
Oh,
I know,
dude.
like
okay, so the segue into that. All right, one game, 3-bit. Is this it? Is it a Halo id tech game?
No, is this happening?
Are we doing this right now?
Go for it, man. Yeah.
Oh
Oh
shoot.
no, I wasn't ready.
Hey, dude, Halo id tech. You could pick that.
I'm just thinking about there's so many possibilities with Bethesda, like with what they're capable of. Like now we have
It's not just
Obsidian.
Bethesda though.
Yeah, I mean we have Obsidian. Remember them with ZeniMax, and so they made gosh, my brain, Fallout, New Vegas. Yeah, and people, those are that game is some of people's favorite Fallout game.
Favorite Fallout.
Favorite, yeah. And Obsidian, yeah, of course, they're working on different titles. They're working on the new Avowed and a couple other games right now. So they're kind of busy, but I would love to see them team up with a new Fallout game for sure. That's definitely a possibility now that they're underneath the Xbox umbrella. And based on what I've seen in the roundtable, it seems like they're very good about studios communicating with each other. That was like a common message in the roundtable that these studios are. One thing they really liked about Bethesda is the fact that these studios are communicating with them and giving them freedom, but also respecting them as artists, and that's not always the case in an industry worth billions, even trillions of dollars at times. I think now that Obsidian, it could be back on the table. That would be kind of cool. But at the same time, I keep seeing people say like, "Oh, Obsidian." I think it was Ryan McCaffrey. It's like drop these games, and work with Bethesda.
He got killed for that comment.
I don't agree with
dude.
that. Obsidian itself is talented on its own. They don't need Bethesda. They don't need on their own.
It's a
They
great
are
fucking
very
game studio. Absolutely.
yeah. They are a passionate game studio. They don't need Bethesda in any way. This is just my fan thing of like, oh, it'd be kind of cool to see them collab. But you know, I'm looking forward to Avowed. I'm looking forward to what their vision is for their studio going forward. It'd just be kind of cool to see. But if I had to pick one game, I would love to see ID Tech engine for like an ODST 2. Like that would just be really sick, and I think it would fit Halo. At the same time, Halo is so large, like such a huge universe. I would love to see different genres in Halo. Like I think Halo itself is, I compare it to like Star Wars or something. It like sort of breaks those genres. It doesn't need to be first person. I love it being in first person, but I also think it's such a huge story that they can explore like a third person action adventure Halo. They can do that in id Tech engine. I just haven't seen it. I can't imagine it in my brain what that would look like, a third person id Tech ODST type game. I can't imagine it in my head, but it'd be really cool to see ZeniMax or Bethesda or ID Tech tackle a Halo game. I think that would be really cool. 343, they have their faults. I know people who work there. They always tell me things that aren't the best working at that studio. But at the same time, each Halo game that I've played, I've liked for different reasons. Halo 5, I liked Halo 5, but the story was the weakest, and I think that really downplayed a lot of the Halo franchise. It's my least favorite Halo for sure. Like if I had to choose what my least favorite Halo was, that would be it. But 343 has never I guess had the worst or they always had amazing graphics, and they always pushed Halo in certain ways that I liked. But I'm hoping with Halo Infinite it'll be awesome. But ODST 2 id Tech, that's my final answer.
Awesome.
I'll let you guys talk now, so go ahead.
I got good feelings about that.
Now that 3-Bit brought it up real quick, and I know we're on this topic, but just to back up a little bit with Ryan McCaffrey's comment, right? What was even crazier though was the IGN editor. I forget the guy's name that he was actually responding to. That's what started that comment. Was that guy was trying to imply that Microsoft would be competing against itself by having both Avowed. Yeah, thank you. By having both Avowed and Elder Scrolls underneath the same umbrella. This is the most ridiculous concept of all times. And that's what started that whole conversation. But the metric right now is engagement. And other than your games of a service, I can guarantee you the games that provide the most engagement are giant Western RPGs. Okay. We're talking about people putting hundreds of hours into them. And for this guy to imply that somehow having Avowed come out and I'm assuming, again, we don't know for sure, but let's say Avowed's ready 2022. Elder Scrolls isn't going to be ready for another year, maybe 2 years after that, right? And even if Avowed's 2023, I don't think we see Elder Scrolls until 2024, maybe at the earliest, maybe even longer. So that whole concept was crazy. And then 3-bit, to go back to the sharing of tech, I thought it was also amazing to hear. And again, I kind of knew this just because we know that Phil and Todd are extremely close, and these two companies have been very close for a very long time. But for Todd to come out, number one, say we screwed up Fallout 76 bad. That was awesome. And then for him to say that I called Phil, and Phil got me in contact with some people at Microsoft to try to help us walk through some of the issues and try to fix it.
I called Phil.
Yeah, well, that's what he was. He's just like, yeah, I mean, because those two are best friends. I mean, that's why I said when they were doing this deal's been going on for a long time, and they've known, again, everybody can say they can't talk about it, but those two are going out to dinner and hanging out and talking about stuff. I mean, there's no question. But for them to be able to call up, or for one of the first calls to be was to Phil, and then Phil not only go, hey, you know what? I hear you. Let's get you in contact with some of our guys, and let's see what we can figure out to help you guys through this. That just shows that those community. This isn't going to be a transition that happens after 2 to 3 years of getting familiar with each other, like some acquisitions take, because sometimes companies buy other studios that they have never, they've worked with a little bit, but they don't have that intense relationship with. These lines of communications have been developed already for years. This is going to be one of the smoothest transitions you could ever have between two companies coming together like this. And that just means we're going to see results like this even faster than you normally would when you acquire a company like this.
100%, man. Hey, Centurion, do you have a possibility that would be possible now because of this partnership that wasn't possible before?
Oh man, I've been trying to think about your question all day. What could not be? I mean, it's more like what is not possible now. But let's look back to my God, let's talk about it was mentioned earlier, Fallout New Vegas. There was a lot of potential for Fallout New Vegas, not only for having a Fallout New Vegas 2, but it also, some of the storylines gave rise to, I think one of them was like a Mississippi-based version of Fallout. It gave a path for so many different branches for Fallout just because of Obsidian's take on the Fallout franchise. So this opens the doors for actually the franchises we all love to get much bigger than we already expect. I'm more interested in what new IPs are going to be concocted out of this whole conglomerate of developers that can somehow share ideas, like you said, go out to dinner, call each other. It's going to be really interesting. I can't really put my mind on one thing other than I've always had this crazy ass idea, because forgive me, I'm a sucker for sci-fi.
That's what this is about. Crazy ideas, man.
I have always wanted a company to tackle the idea, because the franchise I'm about to mention right now is in a point of stagnancy. The creator is actually a really good creator, but because of how the movie industry works and the television industry works, he has decided to not push it forward anymore, and that's like the Stargate world. Does anybody know how Stargate works?
Well, I know that you travel through the Stargates to go to other worlds and stuff.
I know the guy from
I think there's stars.
I love the movie. I love the movie.
To break it down real quick, not to bore people, but the gods of Earth were actually aliens impersonating the gods that we worshipped. Right. They came here as parasites because human beings were the perfect hosts for them to be inside. And so they would take on the role of the gods that us humans had created. At the time, it was the Egyptian mythology. And then you find out that other aliens found out about this, and they came here and fought them, and they are the Norse mythology. And it's this huge universal thing of actually a war that us human beings try to separate ourselves from by burying our gate. But because we are what we are, we unbury it. The U.S. military gets a hold of it and they mess with it and figure out how to turn it back on. The Stargate system is like, think about how like Star Trek and Star Wars work. You're able to go from planet to planet and have all these adventures. Now imagine finding out that there was actually an alien race that at one time that seeded the galaxy with all these gates because they wanted to help propagate the human race. They actually wanted the human race to spread. And so you can actually move from planet to planet, and it just opens the world for, I mean, if you actually watch a show or got into the movies, you can experience different cultures, alien races, and just completely different takes. And it's all because of the concept that the gate can take you anywhere. As long as there is a receptive Stargate on another planet, you can go anywhere.
It sounds like a game franchise that could be a lot of fun. Like, cause
it would be more like a games as like almost like MMO games as
Right.
a service, something really up ZeniMax's alley, in my opinion.
Love it, man.
And that's where it. And the thing is, because it's got no established lore outside of what's been established in the movies, and also the movies and television show have not had anything for years. You could either reboot, use what little lore is there, but like literally the sky's the limit. You can concoct anything because seriously, it was never fully explored.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Can we talk about like the legacy title thing?
I mean, like actually.
Oh,
like,
with what Phil's comments were when he said legacy.
Yeah, because a lot of people seem to be confused by that, and I thought.
Well, hey, you want me to play the clip for everybody where he says it?
He says, "I have it on hand. We're doing it. We're going in.
I can play it. You know,
we're doing it. Let's do it.
You want to do it now or after this topic?
Yeah, you want to do it
right now,
after this topic or right now?
I don't give a shit.
Ladies trying to get more time to think over there.
Okay.
That's all
I
she's doing.
had something to say on the topic.
I just need some time,
Yeah,
Spawn.
While we have like 37 people in here right now, I just want to thank the chat for being awesome. We had a record like 46 people in here at one point tonight.
48.
48, really?
Wow.
48 people.
Yeah.
For even the panel,
Thank you,
the
chat.
chat, for all you people to hang out with here on a Friday night is just really touching and awesome.
Everybody
so much,
out
you
there is freaking awesome. We've because ladies on here, and I know it's gonna fly out there once in a while. Y'all are fucking awesome. I appreciate. I'm just kidding, lady.
You just said it. You just said it. She was muted.
No, I said it before too. I'm just kidding. You guys are great. I freaking love all of you, and thanks for hanging out. Shout out to everybody. I don't want to leave anybody out, so I'm not going to go through all the names, but I see you guys in the chat.
That's
And it means a lot.
that's a wonderful thing.
Let me see.
Yeah.
We know who they are.
Yeah, 100%, guys. All of you. Hey, let's do one
Mars.
more game real quick, because I think Mars actually prepared.
Yeah.
Because I see her ready to like speak. I think she actually did some homework on this, and I want to know what that is, and then we'll play Phil's clip.
I don't necessarily have like something I would like.
Okay,
to
never
see.
mind. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I have something I'm okay. Lady might get mad at me for this, but I feel like with Bethesda, they're probably going to pull out like obviously one of their great titles, and I don't want to see another Fallout for a couple more years. I feel like they really need to take time to work on it, get it done, but also like the longer they go without it, the more people are going to want it. Like,
yeah,
I'm waiting on GTA. The longer I'm waiting, the more hyped I am for it as soon as it comes out. I feel like Fallout needs to wait 3, 4-ish years.
Talking about GTA and
I gave up on
Fallout,
GTA
like
6.
they're
I
not
agree.
like Rockstar and
done.
Bethesda are too. Like, I mean, yes, I mean we all want a new fucking GTA. I don't because
I do.
actually I never played it. But
I feel like Fallout should wait a little bit. Create more of a want, and then spend a lot of time on it. Make sure it's like beautiful.
You may be onto something just because Fallout 76 put a bad taste in people's mouths for a while. So now Fallout 4 was great. Fallout 3 was great.
Fallout 4 was subpar. Like
Yeah.
you're saying great, like it was great, but it's not. It was subpar. It was subpar to Fallout fans.
I didn't like all the building stuff. I'll just say
It
that.
reached into a fucking, and this is me coming from me, and everybody knows how much I fucking love my simulation games and shit like
Mhm.
that. But Fallout 4 was it was something that I wasn't expecting. So I got into it.
Yeah.
I spent way too much time like focusing on my little
Base.
building, and like I forgot about the rest of the game. And then at the end of the fucking thing, I was just like, this isn't Fallout. Like, why am I even doing this?
Yeah.
Took out a lot of the RPG.
Yeah.
Took out a lot of the
It
RPG.
did. It did. It took out so much of it that I didn't even care to finish it, and that's how
Yeah.
I
I think they
that
got
happened.
caught up in that whole creation phase where like Minecraft had taken off and like all these games started kind of doing that, like where, hey, let's let people build their own worlds and stuff, as opposed to focusing on what people actually loved Fallout for.
I don't want to do it either, so don't force me to do it.
I guess I can't
They have
speak
a
well
mobile
on
game for
because
that.
I enjoyed building my home and finding all the collectibles and
Nice,
putting
dude.
them on bookshelves and having this just massive collection of crap.
I
feel like
think
it should be like a
more
side.
or less came down to the people who like couldn't invest the hours into it that they wanted to. So
Yeah.
it was, and I'm not gonna lie that when Fallout 4 did come out, I totally called into work for a fucking week straight, and I missed like Black Friday. I don't even remember, but I remember I got scolded as a retail worker. It wasn't bad. I just feel like there could have been so much more to that. So, I mean, I do feel like you are right. They could focus more in the Fallout franchise, because when 76 came out, I was excited. Like a fucking multiplayer Fallout. Like, we all wanted that. We've been talking about that for years. And then it came out and we were like, wow,
Yeah.
this is fucking
I feel
stupid.
like it's such a big title for them. They just want to get it out. It's like you need to put more work into it before you put it out.
Exactly,
and
Mars,
with
and that's
did rush.
the,
They did
Go ahead,
Go,
rush
Pong.
26.
Oh no, you go ahead. You
No.
finish your thought.
Yeah.
No,
I
you
don't
finish
know.
your thought. Oh, I was just gonna say Mars is absolutely correct, and what you're saying, Mars, is goes into what Todd and Phil were talking about during that roundtable. Todd specifically says this deal because ZeniMax put a lot of pressure on these guys to get the games out. That's why Fallout 76 came out. They knew they were going to sell, and they just wanted a moneymaker. So they pushed 76 out the door, and that's all they wanted to do. And now, like Todd and Phil were talking, Todd said this deal gets them back to the original thought process that they had when they first started Bethesda, was we are going to put out quality games when they are ready to come out and not before. And this takes all the pressure off of them. And now they're under one big umbrella, and they can take their time and craft the worlds that they want to craft without any outside pressure saying, no, you got to have this in your game. We got to have this many microtransactions. We got to do this. We got to do that.
This is why Bethesda is so excited to fucking join up with Xbox. Like, we saw it on the fucking roundtable. It's because of that reason right there, is because they know, because of the relationship that Bethesda has with Xbox and all of the interweaving and stuff that's gone on in the past few years. They're like, fuck, we finally have the freedom that we have to do things, and we don't have ZeniMax, fucking I mean, I hate to say it, but it comes down like, in a way, it's like an EA overhang. Like ZeniMax in a way is like an EA overhang, and that's what's happening. So I agree.
That's definitely what happened. I mean, the Fallout 76 was pretty much like a cash grab for them. Like they wanted to head in a direction that gave them more money, and a lot of the games that was coming out wasn't coming out fast enough. That's why we got Wolfenstein. What was it? Old Blood or was it New Blood?
Yeah,
New Blood?
Young Blood.
Young Blood. There you go. One of those.
Young Blood.
Yeah, in Youngblood, a lot of the fans didn't like it, and it seemed not like the studio that produced the actual game. It seemed just very different. And around that time, they released that. They released Fallout 76, and it was pretty much around the time of ZeniMax. I'm pretty sure how I imagine they came into a boardroom and they were like, okay, we need to shift some things in our studio.
Things.
Yeah,
the fun part.
I kind of imagine like they're pretty much in a boardroom, and they're pretty much just saying like, okay, we're not making enough money. Yes, we have these single player games. They come out in like 5 years from each other, like especially like Fallout or a Elder Scrolls is still not out, right? Skyrim came out how long ago? So
yeah,
I believe
Which
their vision
Skyrim
was
are
like
you
a service.
talking about exactly? The remake?
Exactly, right? So many different versions of Skyrim. So I believe why they especially turned to Microsoft was because, like, okay, they don't have to really worry about the budget side of things anymore. They don't have to worry about compensating their vision as a studio, which I believe is amazing single player experiences.
What they need
They
to
turn
focus on.
to yes, they need to focus on that because we've seen what happens with the service type game. I mean,
And
service
not that
games are fine.
ESO is doing bad. It's like not that ESO is doing bad. It's just that
Yeah,
it's not.
Where it should be.
It's
yeah,
not
it's
what.
not
Could
where it
be.
should
Well,
be.
I wanted to before you say anything, I wanted to at least put out. I have been playing ESO for years with multiple friends. I have invested hundreds of dollars into that game.
Paid for
I'm
the fucking
thinking more
monthly
of Fallout.
subscription for that game for fucking months without even knowing or forgetting that I was paying for it. Like, it's not a bad thing. It's what it has done. It has brought in a different genre of gamers, because I guarantee you half of the people who are playing ESO came from like MMO fucking backgrounds. That's
Yeah.
what happened, and it brought in different people because the people who played Skyrim played for the single player experience. Not a lot of them stuck with ESO because that's not their fucking.
Do you
bread and
remember
butter.
ESO before One Tamriel?
Oh, I do. I've played it since the very beginning. I will go grab my fucking metal Ouroboros and my T-shirt.
Okay, I'm not that bad.
I was all
I'm not
aboard.
that bad, but
I was all aboard.
I will definitely say what made everybody kind of like meh to ESO was before the One Tamriel thing, because everybody was expecting that single player experience, and then you found out you couldn't do that. You couldn't just go places. Actually, before One Tamriel, the game was like very linear. Like you couldn't just go from zone to zone. You couldn't explore the world like you did in Skyrim. And I feel like once they did the One Tamriel expansion, they really gave it kind of legs as a single player game. There is a large portion of that game that you can play as a single player, and you don't even need to go into some of these zones where they have all the PvP and all the crazy crap that you hear about in most of these MMO games.
They've done a good
Really
job.
what brought them
and I
down.
think
And they did the same thing with Fallout. Like they did this like crazy like multiplayer focused fucking shit, and it was just like I was so excited to play multiplayer in Fallout, and I was like, I don't
Me too.
really
Just the
wanna.
idea of a Fallout. I mean, it's hard to imagine now because Fallout 76, right? It's sort of ruined
Like
our
a
vision
Borderlands
for.
Fallout. That's what I want.
Yeah.
I want
Oh,
like a
that'd be
fucking
sick.
Borderlands Fallout. Like I just want to be able to like hook up with like max 3 of my other friends and just fucking go and fuck
run
up
amok.
some
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Mark?
radiation shit.
I said that'd be sick.
Yeah, like I think Fallout, like the idea of a Fallout multiplayer is amazing. Like I just in my head, it didn't come out how I wanted it to with 76, but like a Fallout in my head of what I imagine Fallout to be for like a multiplayer game, it still is pretty amazing. I know they've updated it. I haven't checked it out since then. I've had people message me and say it's gotten a lot better since launch. I don't know. But you know, I think they didn't do themselves any favors when 76 came out. It wasn't just how the game released, it was how they responded to a lot of the criticisms and basically making things worse with how they released things and how they responded to things. And I know, based on what I know, I don't think Todd had a lot to do with that game. He sort of slapped his name on it and kind of just it's like very much.
Well, it's
for
his
promotion.
world that he like had been working on for so long. Like, because what we knew of Fallout before was this top-down tactics and CRPG, right? So he created this like universe really that we see for what it is today. And Fallout 76 is an interpretation of that in an online world, but I wouldn't say Todd Howard is responsible for what Fallout for all of Fallout 76's problems.
Studio.
Exactly.
That was Bethesda Austin or something. And I know Pong. I feel like Pong knows a lot about this, so I kind of want to hear what Pong has to say.
No, I do, but I don't know a lot of the ins and outs of it. But what happened? We got to remember that because Bethesda was so well known, and most of the studios underneath them are so well known for single player games. They got caught kind of flat footed. The investment group I'm talking about, when it becomes with ZeniMax and the Umbrella, right? They saw all these the landscape of video games changed, and it's high risk to make single player large games nowadays because they cost so much money. And all of a sudden, all these battle royales came out, right? We had the Fortnites, and then later Warzone, obviously, but they saw the change in the landscape. And obviously, investors don't understand the business all the time. And from what I understand, is that it was a bunch of pretty old, wealthy guys that was in the investment group, and they were there, and that's kind of why they got out of the business, is because they kind of figured out that they didn't really know what was going on besides Altman. Obviously, Robert Altman was definitely knew what he was doing, but the rest of the investment, the group, the board, just weren't in it because they didn't understand what it took. And then they saw these battle royale games and all these microtransaction laden games coming out, and all these companies making tons of money. And what do? They say, hey, why aren't you guys making one of these games? Why aren't we out here making all this money that all these other teams are, right? And all of a sudden you try to fit, a square peg in a round hole that doesn't fit their normal MO style game, and you wind up with these falls, right? You wind up with these problems that they didn't expect. Again, ESO has turned into a very, very good game. They took that from the original, and it disappointed a ton of people. I was one of them. Just like Lady, I was in from the beginning because I'm such a huge Elder Scrolls fan. I was like, oh my God, you're going to give me Elder Scrolls Online. I can go play with people. I can play by myself, but you're going to continuously update content. Holy cow, I'm
You
in.
guys ever want to
Right?
get
One
back
big
into
world.
that, man? I'm running a full guild. I've got a guild hall with everything in it.
Centurion, man, if I decide I'll hit you up, I put I don't know, I put 300-400 hours in on the PS4, and they won't let me. You can't transfer your character over to Xbox.
Oh, dude,
I called their customer.
I'd be bitter about that.
Oh, dude, I called and I complained. I was mad. They wouldn't put Todd on the line, but I called and I complained, and I said, you guys are nuts. 2020, 2021, and I can't transfer my character over to Xbox. Are you kidding me right now? So, but if I ever do, I'll call you. But yeah, I just think they got caught really flat-footed, saw all this money being spent in all these games of service, and then decided to try to force these studios to come up with something that was going to fit that mold and continue to make that money. And again, ESO is making a ton of money right now. That, don't discount it. They just talked about the numbers. It's the biggest MMO on consoles right now. So it is making a lot of money, but the Fallout 76 was rushed because they were ready to sell. They had already started talking about it because all the high level people were all older. I think they were all 70 plus, I want to say, and they were all getting ready to go live on the beach somewhere, and they wanted out of the game. They didn't have the heart.
That's
for it
what they're
anymore.
going to do now.
Exactly. Exactly.
They got their wish.
So they just pushed it out.
I always heard rumors around the crowds that I was allowed to hang out in about how the owners of Bethesda, or the owner of Bethesda, was in his 80s, and that he was looking for somebody that actually he could sell it to, but they also did want to find somebody that they could actually keep the legacy going, because they even did mention it in the stream that we had. We're talking about a company that got its start in someone's basement, to which is now a worldwide publisher for multiple studios. And
that was Altman. Yeah, that was
Robert Altman.
And he wanted Microsoft to take it over.
Now, there was
really
one
did.
other gentleman, I can't think of him, who is actually one of the board members of E3. Worked right next to Phil Spencer, and he was one of the ones that was pushing for the Elder Scrolls version. I believe it was called Blades or something on the mobile.
Yeah, Elder Scrolls Blades. Yeah.
They were pushing for a lot of that mobile stuff, and it just was not going over well at all. And you could just see the writing on the wall. But I do at least have to give Todd Howard, I at least want to play devil's advocate and give him credit due in the fact that when he first talked about Fallout 76, he came out and even said, we're going to have a beta. When that game, even he himself knew launching this game, he had no idea like what the F was going to happen. And so he even came out on stage at the Bethesda event and said, we're going to have a beta. And in a matter of speaking, the Fallout 76 game itself has never really come out of that statement of beta. They have been continuing adding content to it, but you always have felt like it's an experiment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. No, I agree wholeheartedly. All right. I'll make mine real quick. I know 3-Bit wants to talk about this subject and we're getting long, but I'll make mine real quick because this is only because Phil said that he's listening to podcasts. So Phil, if
Yes.
you're out there listening, right?
Give us your dream.
Look, that's right. Phil, if you're listening, listen to me. There's a lot of obvious IPs out there that would look fantastic. And depending on what studio you guys choose, right? And the obvious one is Fallout New Vegas 2. Give it back to Obsidian. Let them do their thing, okay? It's fine. But you guys, right now, Mav knows. Well, he'll know when I say it, but him and I have had this conversation, so he'll remember. You guys are sitting on an IP right now, Phil. It has been stagnant. Okay, you guys have done nothing with it since the 360. Okay, and you're sitting on this IP, and this is a gold mine for you guys. Okay, I'm telling you right now. Shadowrun. You guys own Shadowrun. Cyberpunk and sci-fi is huge. Okay,
Yes.
Shadowrun, before you guys bought it, back in the Genesis and Super Nintendo days, was one of the biggest IPs. It was one of the biggest tabletop Cyberpunk games as well. Cyberpunk 2077 was huge. Shadowrun was the one everybody knew. You guys are sitting on it. Okay, you guys made a first-person shooter out of it, which got panned because nobody wanted to see a first-person shooter out of it. But those of us that played it did love it. Go ahead, make another first-person shooter. Yep, exactly, Mav. Yep. You go ahead, make another first-person shooter out of it. That's fine. You got all these talented RPG writing teams now.
In exile.
Bring back Shadowrun as an RPG. Bring it back. It will be a gold mine. Cyberpunk, for all of its problems, and was overly ambitious. You don't even have to go that far with it. Just bring back a great. You can even make it turn-based if you want to. I don't care. Bring back a great version of Shadowrun, and you will sell millions of copies. There are a lot of fans out there my age, older, and even a little bit younger that remember the Shadowrun days from Genesis, man. I'm telling you, you've been sitting on it for too long. Make it happen. Give it to one of your teams. You've got so many RPG writers now. Give it to one of them and let them run wild with it. Even make a small team. I don't care. Just do it.
There's so many IPs that Microsoft is sitting on, and I always say this on different like podcasts I'm on. I always say like if there's one thing Microsoft is sort of lacking right now is being able to access those IPs and really just celebrate it. Like you look at Astrobot from PlayStation, and it's pretty much a celebration of their older titles, their older system for sure. But PlayStation, something they're good at is bringing those IPs back, and Nintendo's pretty much kings at it, right? How many Marios have we seen?
Well,
over the years?
Nintendo's starting to Disney Vault their games now.
They are
what they're doing.
Really?
They're pretty much making you pay for the same game over and over, which it's Nintendo. Nintendo can get away with it. Yeah. I don't know why. They're Nintendo. So
I'll buy Pokemon as long as they keep making it.
Yeah. See,
and that's everybody's attitude with Nintendo.
I went out and bought the Mario collection day one.
Yeah,
like I can't.
That's the Disney Vault game I'm talking about. Like you're gonna make it available for like 3 months. It's just weird,
Yeah, that's a lot of people's mindsets with like Nintendo and Sony. Like when you go to Sony, you expect different games. When you go to Nintendo, you definitely expect like a Mario. You definitely expect different games. Xbox has so many IPs that they're not using right now. It's cool that they're bringing some back, like Perfect Dark. That's a great start. That is a great IP that I'm glad they brought back. But there's still a lot, like Pong. I wasn't even thinking about Shadowrun. That's a game that they should definitely bring back. That is a cyberpunk level like world that they can definitely expand upon. But just think about like just them buying Rare already has so many different IPs within Rare like Banjo and a bunch of
Yeah.
different games. And we know Phil has said in the past that he's interested in making more E-rated games. Because when you think about Xbox, what do you think about? You think about Halo, which was M-rated for a bit. You think about Gears, M-rated, and all these other games. Perfect Dark, brand new game, or something that's brought back. What is that? Probably M-rated. So there's like variety. I know is a thing that they are working on, especially with titles like Sea of Thieves. You have like Hellblade coming, and we have so many studios now. So variety is coming, but something they definitely do struggle in is maintaining the IPs they already have. I already know Rare doesn't want to work on some of those old IPs. They want to basically focus on the future of the company, which is fine. But there is still a benefit to what you guys already have. I think a good start to that is sort of a Smash Brothers type game, because now they have so much IP. Like, let's see a Doom Slayer fight like Master Chief, fight Skyrim characters, fight Banjo, like fight Conquer.
Skyrim
Like,
characters. What are we gonna pull out? Like some.
yeah.
Hey, what do you
It's like
know?
I don't even know.
He knows. He actually knows something. He knows something. I had four guys with the quarters, clowns in the chat. Says, "Hey, you're smiling about something right now. What do you know?"
I mean, what I know, I
Yeah,
can't
what do
tell
you
you.
know?
But
That's
what
okay.
what I can
we
tell you
guess.
guys, I'll just smile the whole time so you guys can't, because I
Yeah.
know I have a terrible poker face.
See, I'd be
Make,
down
just
for
make a noise if we get it right. Like I told you the other night.
just like
It's like
I'd be
with
down.
Ubisoft. And but yeah, I think a good start to that would be like a Smash Brother. I would love to see like a Microsoft Smash Bros, like Marcus Phoenix fighting like Master Chief. They have so much IP now, they could do that. You know,
Yeah.
especially with ZeniMax and all the IP that already has. So yeah, I think Microsoft needs to be a little bit better with maintaining the IP. If Phil is watching for whatever reason, if he is one of these, many viewers are in here, 40 something. Also, shout out to the chat. You guys are awesome. If he is one of the 40 something viewers, then you guys have amazing IP. Look at it. You have Microsoft Publishing, which, like, let's say, I know.
Yeah, and they're capable.
said the
Microsoft
Zen-
Publishing and have multiple games going on within that at the
Yes.
same time, just like Battletoads and Flight Simulator and all
Oh,
that.
yeah.
right?
Exactly. Because I know there was an article recently that said something about like they can't get a developer to work on Killer Instinct, right? So
Yeah.
let's say yes, you can't find, out of your 26 studios, they're all busy working on something they can't manage. That's fine. That's what Microsoft Publishing is for. That is so you can reach out to other studios that's not within your 26 something studios. You can reach out to a developer like the developers who make like Blaze Blue, Arc, what is it, Arc System Works?
Yeah.
Wait. Can I just point something out?
Yeah.
He just said 26 studios. There's only officially 23 now.
23? Okay. So
Can I-
23.
Oh my god!
Well,
Are you
thank you.
fucking serious right now? Okay, cool.
Yes,
Big
23.
is up.
Thank you, Fong.
The jig is
Officially
up.
23 studios. So
Officially,
out of the 23
he just
studios,
he just added officially at the beginning of it. Okay, 3-bit. You're
Alright,
smart
figure it
enough
out.
now. Hey,
Oh,
keep those
alright.
margaritas flowing, dude. Well, I love it.
hmm
No, he's drinking
He's
wine.
not.
It's either
drinking
that or he just
margaritas,
totally
he's
flipped
drinking
up
wine.
and said what he wasn't supposed to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I finished my wine, so.
The
But
whole bottle.
basically, the whole thing. 23 studios. Thank you, Pong. Officially. And Killer Instinct is a title. Sorry. Killer Instinct is like a thing where they were basically saying like, hey, Phil was, or somebody was saying we don't have someone to work on it. So that's basically the job of Microsoft Publishing,
Yeah.
to reach out to external studios outside of the 23 studios and really look at developers like Arc System Works, the people who make Blaze Blue and a bunch of fighting games, to do something like a Killer Instinct. So yeah, I mean there's so much potential for what's here. With like the studios that are already here, we're talking about Bethesda, right? And that is big. We're talking about ZeniMax. That's
It's
a
a huge fucking deal.
Huge Huge
Biggest
deal
thing that's ever happened to Xbox.
for sure.
Just saying.
But
Definitely.
Gaming.
there's already
and gaming.
yeah, the biggest thing that's happened in gaming, 7.5 billion. I think Microsoft.
And people downplay it,
Uh,
but it's not a fucking it's not a
huge.
baby thing.
I think the biggest purchase Microsoft
Mm,
has
water.
done is LinkedIn. They did that for like 20 something billion, and right under that is ZeniMax. So I think in the future people need to not just look at ZeniMax. Yes, ZeniMax is huge. I love all the titles that are underneath ZeniMax. I love Fallout. I love Skyrim. Love Prey. Love Doom. Love all those franchises. But people need to also look out for like Obsidian. People also need to look out for Ninja Theory, which is one of my favorite studios right now.
Yeah.
I was about to say something, but I can't say that. Ninja Theory, awesome, and a Coalition. Who knows what they're working on? They are one of the best studios in terms of engineering with the Real Engine.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm a leave.
So you
it at
got
that. I feel
the
like I've been-
creators of id Tech, and also one of the best people with Unreal, all in
Yeah.
Xbox's family. You were gonna say something, Mars. You were trying to chime in there, but 3-Bits
So-
had a little bit too much wine.
hmm So based off of like what he said with they need more game, like E for Everyone games. Something that I've been banking on, like since it came out, I want to say on the original Xbox, every E3 my parents like do a little bingo card and like ask us what we want to see every year for like however past 10 something years. I want to see Viva Pinata come back.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That is a great E
Been
for
calling
Everyone
for that for
game.
years.
Yeah.
That'd be
Absolutely, Mars.
That would be
sick
good
to
shit.
watch.
Yeah.
The Super
I agree
Smash
that.
Bros thing. We got a pinata, or
Yes.
the green girl fighting
you have
against folks
gardening.
from Doom.
Yeah. You
I
have it
would
all.
kill for Viva Pinata to come back.
So
Or
here's
if
a
there's
thought, Mars. You know
Mhm.
what they did at EA with the Plants vs Zombies game, where you had
Yeah.
a spin-off that was like a shooter as well. Like if you
Mhm.
started like Viva Pinata, like okay, it's in Game Pass or it's free, right?
Mhm.
Because the free-to-play model didn't exist when Viva Pinata came out, right? Only on mobile maybe, but now if you were to have Viva Pinata, that game is like built for something like that, where you could like have new characters come out that are available to grow your gardens and stuff, and maybe come out
Oh,
later
yeah.
with a spin-off like a Plants vs Zombies like shooter or something, where you have all your different characters that you raised that you can like have fight against each other with these little
Mhm.
like pinata brawls and shit like that. I don't know. That sounds like
Or you could just play Garden Flipper coming soon to consoles.
No. No.
yeah. She's excited about Garden Flipper, and also like you said, there was something like Pet Flipper that was announced for Steam.
Pet Flipper.
Wow,
I know.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Oh,
it's
I saw you
DLC.
post about House Flipper.
Yeah, the Pet Flipper is DLC for House Flipper. I think you can have a pet.
Mm-hmm. And you can
Gotcha.
take care of it.
Yeah,
I would fucking I need to play
So-
House Flipper. Like that's
You
generous.
seriously do.
Fucking need to play it. I just need to fucking pull the trigger. Can we talk
Do it.
about Quake though? And how
Fucking
like
Quake.
amazing that
Quake- I
fucking
love
would be
Quake.
Hell yeah.
if like
gonna
Xbox
happen.
took over and gave it like this amazing money, because you asked me this question and that wasn't my first thought, but as I like fucking pondered on it, I was like, Quake is
now you're talking, lady.
probably coming back. Like Quake is gonna come back, and I can see it being like some sci-fi fucking magical shit, and like maybe not this year, but like 2023 or some shit, we're gonna see a fucking new Quake. And that's what's gonna happen. And it's gonna have the fucking backing of Microsoft and all the fucking studios and all their fucking programs, and it's gonna be fucking amazing. And that's what
And QuakeCon is now going to be a Microsoft event. Everybody,
it is gonna be. A fucking
that's
Microsoft
crazy.
fucking event.
Right?
I was just thinking about that. Like everything. Think about.
So are we
E3.
going to QuakeCon?
It's in Dallas. I'm
We're
already
going.
here, baby.
Is there going to be
Let's
a
go.
QuakeCon? Is
Three
that-
bit, you
Wait,
know,
this year,
uh,
probably not. Probably not. This year.
3-Bit and I can carpool down there.
Heck yeah. Hey,
Where-
that's
where
where we're all
is
meeting the Xbox Ultimate team. Everybody's
Yep.
gonna meet at QuakeCon in Dallas. We'll host.
Because I'm
And
not,
car-
I can't catch COVID.
Yeah.
I called the couch.
Yeah. I mean,
They're probably not having it this
Carmack-
year. I would
Carmack's-
imagine next year is going to be back.
Carmack tweeted out during last year when the deal was first announced that he would be willing to come back and work with some of his old franchises now that ZeniMax is out of the equation. So Phil's just got to make the call. And the
Yeah, that'd be
original
that'd be
creator of
crazy.
Quake would come back and bring him back. Yep.
Yeah.
It would be amazing.
I mean, you guys think about E3 used to be what? It used to be Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, Ubisoft, EA,
Bethesda.
and Bethesda. So now Bethesda, who literally had their own show for like an hour or whatever, is being absorbed into like an Xbox as if it was like an E3 presentation. That's
and
just
most of
ridiculous.
Sega's games are going into Game Pass. Yeah, also.
Sega.
So
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Mars.
Yeah, definitely. Good shit.
Yeah.
So I before we like end up doing outros and stuff, I gotta ask Psychonauts if he has a game that he thought of.
Yes. I thought of a game that was back from OG Xbox, and that is Brute Force.
Hell yeah.
I think Arcane Studios
Yeah.
could make it.
There you
Nice.
go.
In Arcane, they did the 2017 Prey, and I definitely think they can take on the third-person squad-based shooter, because we need that. We really don't have any other than like Division, but Microsoft really doesn't have anything that's third-person squad-based, other than, I wouldn't
That's
say
fucking
Gears
excellent
5,
answer, to be
but
honest.
yeah, Brute Force definitely.
Yeah, Gears is a different animal.
Oh,
I
I
mean,
forgot about
people are
Brute
saying,
Force.
"What
Yeah.
about Gears?" But like Gears is a different kind
But
of.
Brute Force, yeah, that came out like, I think it was like May of the same year that Halo 2 dropped.
Right on.
And it was, Microsoft owns the IP because they bought the studio that made it, and they definitely could pull this off and knock it out of the park. I mean, I don't know if anyone's played it back then, but it was awesome. I loved it.
Yeah.
And it didn't have online multi. It had local online multi. So like LAN parties back in the day when we were playing Halo 1 LAN parties, this was, felt normal to us. So it was nice. Halo 2 really, revolutionized online multiplayer, but yeah. Brute Force is definitely a game that I want to see come back and make a statement, and I definitely think that getting Arcane to do it, I think that's
Ooh, Arcane would be cool.
yeah.
So I that's awesome, dude. I think that would be incredible. I'm gonna throw a few out there. Okay, just a few games that I think could be possible. Okay, now think
You only
Halo
get one.
Wars. What, baby?
You only get one.
Only get no. I'm gonna. There's two. I have some. I have more than one because I keep popping up in my head. I'm not
They're
gonna go into
everywhere.
depth. I'm gonna make it quick. I promise. Okay. Think Halo Wars, but style game. But you have like different factions from these different worlds, right? You have like the like Skyrim faction. You got like the Gears of War. You got the Halo. You got the Doom, right? Where each faction like is a different race that you get to control within like a RTS, like Halo Wars. That would be fucking awesome. Okay. Next, I want either a id or a Tango Gameworks Flood game, like Halo Flood horror game.
Okay.
Horror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be
Ooh,
cool.
horror?
Tango
Okay.
Gameworks taking on the Flood, right? Or id because of Doom, right? They got that dark aesthetic down. I want that. Geez. Okay. Then I had another one in my head.
Horde mode? Like horde mode?
No, just
Horror?
like a
Like-
dark setting. Like you could have like
Okay.
jump scares. Isolated. You're going through an environment. You gotta. You're like a stranded ODST in a old Covenant structure on a Halo ring, and the Flood. You stumble upon the Flood, and you're trying to get out and survive. You got your old squad mates are becoming Flood before your eyes. that would just scare the shit out of me, because like in Halo CE, like it went dark, right? There was that turn and that twist, and it gave you that creepy vibe. There's a lot to explore there that they never really went further into, and I think that would be pretty freaking awesome. The other thing I would like to see is some kind of crossover between the Coalition and id as well, because Gears and Doom have like kind of a similar like vibe, right? I think the studios there have a lot of the same kind of like personality kind of characteristics that comes through in their games. I would love to see some kind of like some new creation come from them, just something that I could never even possibly fathom. And then I want to see Todd Howard take on a classic Halo IP and just go crazy with creating a new universe. That's what I want.
Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Explain
Okay,
that
so
a little bit. Like classic Halo.
Okay, so
what are you talking about?
Crimson Skies. You got this world they developed that's all based upon flight, and you got this adventure flight game, right? You could develop some kind of huge RPG based on like sky flight and stuff. Just a different take. I want it. Todd Howard is a visionary of creating worlds and universes for people to explore. And if you go into some of these IPs that Xbox has from deep in their pocket, you can create things that we never dreamt of. And that's where my mind goes to when these things happen. And based on what I heard when they were talking to each other, Phil and Todd and Pete Hines and Aaron Greenberg and all this stuff, I guarantee you those guys are talking about, hey, what can we do now? Like this is a dream come true for all of them, because Xbox has had studios, but they've never had the talent all at once that Bethesda has. They haven't had those like visionary creators. A lot of like 343's issues are because the head ups of the studios are executives. They're not necessarily true creators like Todd Howard is, right? When you have somebody like Todd Howard or like Shinji Mikami, I think it's his name, at like Tango Gameworks, and a lot of these like legendary creators that not only created games, but they created genres, right? These guys are responsible for creating genres, right? You got the creators of FPS now are owned by Microsoft at id, right? I mean, just think about that. You got these amazing visionary people that are all coming together, have Microsoft's wallet, also have Microsoft's resources with all of the other tech that they have, and you can now invest that into new worlds, new creations, and it's all going to be on fucking Game Pass.
Yeah.
So that's it.
I mean,
that'd be amazing.
Froggy said it, you definitely said more than two, but I completely agree with everything you said. No, it's all good. That was like a cool list. That was like things I wasn't even thinking about. And gosh, there's just so much potential with ZeniMax. It's very exciting. It's worth multiple podcasts alone, just thinking about the possibilities with the different studios, with ID Tech, not just them working on Doom, but possibly partnering with different Microsoft studios, Tango Gameworks after, what happens after Ghostwire, Bethesda, there's just so much within ZeniMax itself that is worth multiple podcasts alone. just so much there.
Oh yeah.
But also just the future of Microsoft, like what it means to have this many studios, and they said they're not even done purchasing studios. So just spectating on what studio is next is also very exciting to think about.
That's our topic for next week.
Yeah, that's definitely a topic in itself, because there's so much there.
So there's 3, right? You said 3-bit? Because 26 minus 23 is 3, right? So
yep, 3.
3-bit's just not good at math.
I didn't say anything. Yeah, maybe I just suck at math. That's it.
Yeah.
All right. So I unfortunately I got to wrap the show up because it's been like we're running long.
We didn't even talk about the fucking
Can we-
rumor,
wait.
though. We didn't even
Wait,
talk about
yeah.
that, like,
Well,
that
Wait,
thing,
hold
the
on, there's that
Outriders
too, lady.
thing.
The
thingy,
Outriders and
what-
we
Game
do
Pass?
need a
okay.
2-minute tech corner. We need a 2-minute tech talk, 3-bit to
Okay.
Okay.
explain what legacy means according to
Oh,
developers.
well, hold on. Let me
Oh
play
my
this
fucking Lord.
exclusivity
We
clip.
heard this already.
I'm
Let's
gonna-
talk about the
we'll play
shit that
the-
came out today.
I'm gonna do the
It's not
exclusivity
happening,
clip
lady.
real quick.
By the way.
Exclusivity clip
There's a
for
reason
3-bit,
why.
and then he's gonna preach on it. Okay, real quick.
Okay.
Bill on exclusivity now.
We've gotten a lot of questions since we announced this deal, but one of the biggest ones, Phil, is this question about exclusivity and how you think about that and how that's going to work with Bethesda.
Yeah, I see it. I see it in the community. I listen to the podcasts and all the questions. So I'm going to try to be as clear as I can because that's what I just think it's fair. So obviously I can't sit here and say every Bethesda game is exclusive because we know that's not true. There's contractual obligations that we're going to see through, as we always do in every one of these instances. We have games that exist on other platforms, and we're going to go support those games on the platforms they're on. There's communities of players. We love those communities, and we'll continue to invest in them. And even in the future, there might be things that have either contractual things or legacy on different platforms that we'll go do. But if we're an Xbox customer, the thing I want you to know is this is about delivering great exclusive games for you that ship on platforms where Game Pass exists.
Okay. All right, 3-bit. What does legacy mean, Professor 3-bit?
It's kind of what we've been saying, well, since October, or whenever a lot of different Xbox YouTubers have been saying that if there is a contractual obligation, like Ghostwire Tokyo or
Deathloop.
what is the other game? Deathloop, where those games are exclusive to PlayStation, then they will honor those arrangements as they have done in the past with games like what is it called? Gosh, my brain.
Outriders.
The Obsidian game. Well, what's the Obsidian game?
Oh.
Outworlds.
Something.
Outworld.
Outer
Outer
Worlds.
Worlds.
Thank you.
Outer
Gosh.
Worlds.
Outer Worlds. So they Obsidian had a deal with Private Division. Xbox bought them, and what did they do? They still released the game to multiple platforms, despite Xbox completely owning Obsidian. It's the same thing here. If there are previous contractual obligations, they will honor those. However, what he said, where Game Pass is where those games will lie, is basically kind of what people have been saying. Game Pass is the future of Microsoft or Xbox. That is what is important to them. So wherever Game Pass is where ZeniMax games will be going forward. Legacy games, what he means by that is games that are already out, like Skyrim, another Skyrim coming to PlayStation 5. I can see happening.
Right.
Prey, like if they ever do a sort of master of any sort of the games that are already out right now. Legacy means old. So games that are already out right now, or games like Elder Scrolls Online or Fallout 76, where it's more of a service type game, like a Minecraft, right? Where games that are supported over time, like Legacy, to me, for sure applies to MMOs for sure, like in Elder Scrolls Online, Fallout 76, where it's an older game but it's continually being supported. So that means those games most likely will come to a platform like PlayStation 5. However, don't expect to see Starfield on PlayStation 5. I can say that now, especially you can kind of use what's already available with Phil or Jim Ryan saying, I don't know if I can see a Starfield coming to our platform, and he's like, I don't know. And if he doesn't know, then what do you think that means with what Phil just said? You know, that basically means any ZeniMax game that's coming to the platform, wherever Game Pass lies, is where you can expect ZeniMax titles, unless there is a contract that says otherwise. Indiana Jones is one that people are probably going to look at. Does that have a contract? don't know, you could kind of compare it to other games. Like when did Sony approach Starfield? Was it towards the end of development? Was it towards the beginning of development? Whereas Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
So
Also, the
you
thing with
kinda
Indiana Jones is the movie studio could have set a
influence on that.
requirement that it be
LucasArts.
multi-platform, kind of like MLB did with the show, right? So
Yes.
sometimes when you have licensed products, things change a little bit. So if Indiana Jones, like you're saying, is multi-plat, it's not because Xbox is saying, "Hey, we want all of our Bethesda games to be multi-plat."
Well, I base anything Disney does off of what they have done before, and
Right.
what they've done before, I think about is Kingdom Hearts. How have they treated Kingdom Hearts and those properties? There's a lot of different IP within Kingdom Hearts. They treated it with exclusivity for a while with PlayStation. It's been a
they let
while
them be
before they
timed.
even thought about it. Yeah. So I think about it anything where with certain companies you think about what have they done in the past and how does it apply to this deal. And if it applies to this deal, I don't think there's an exclusivity clause in there, maybe. But I don't think Indiana Jones, I think Indiana Jones might be exclusive, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I think Indiana Jones is going to be exclusive. That's kind of like my thought process. It's going to be PC. It's going to be a Game Pass exclusive. That's where it's going to fucking fall. That's what's going to happen.
But what you're going to see of a lot is this. Lisa, can I please have some Bethesda?
Please. And I'll think about EA too. Disney, the way Disney has treated EA with Star Wars, they kind of let EA is very much a multi-platform thing, so they kind of let them do what they want. So if I were to think about it like that too, where Disney is just worried about me, Disney is always just worried about how people treat their properties, and it's something we just talked about on the show, Mav, with Paul, and how important those companies think about how Batman is portrayed in DC like a million different times, or how a Superman is portrayed a million different times. I think it's the same thing with Disney. I don't think they're worried about exclusivity as much. I think they worry about how you portray Indiana Jones, especially if the movie is coming out right next to the game. But who knows? Maybe they want to put it on other platforms. I don't think so, but I could be wrong. So we'll see.
Yeah, if Microsoft has their say so, it'll be exclusive. So that's the bottom line, but we don't know that yet. But dude, that was awesome by Professor 3-Bit. Thank you so much. I loved it. And I hope everybody enjoyed this show. I want to say a special thank you to our guest. As always, I will do ladies first. So because lady is in the name, Lady AF, thank you for joining us. It was a blast. I love having you on the show. Anytime you ever want to come on, just hit me up and you'll make sure you're here. Especially when we have more random things to talk about as well. So
wait, what? So I definitely fucking specialize in the random. So
a lot, yeah. You and Kate are like the randomizers. Like it just
that's what we do. It's fine. Like, you know what? There's like the gamer fucking support. Like, there's like this class, and I'm just there. Like, I know what you guys are talking about, but I don't give a fuck. So I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about because that's what I do.
But you're awesome.
You can find me on Twitter at lady_AF. That's LAIDY, not regular lady. And then AF as in as fuck, not Aunt Flo.
Regular lady and not as what?
Exactly. No, you can find me there. You can find me on Wednesdays on Game Beyond the Box. You can find me Sundays on FWNR doing a super cool astrology skit occasionally.
Lady White Claw.
Lady White Claw. That's where you can find me. You can find me in the backlog of the past 5 years doing podcasting. Gaming podcasting, just comedy podcasting, whatever. I have been there. I have done it. And yeah, you can find me there. And it's been a fun time. So thank you for having me. Thank you for putting up with my fucking nonsense and shit. I wish
I love
I had
your nonsense.
more
It
to
was a
fucking
pleasure.
say, but I think the other fucking panel members had everything to say tonight. So.
Hey, lady, you're awesome. Would love having you on. Like, just your nonsense is amazing. Love it.
I love my nonsense. I'm not fucking ashamed of it at all. So.
No, I'm not either.
Own it.
Now, we also had a first time podcast person. Now we had a large panel today because it's such a big day, a big time for Xbox this week. So she didn't get to say as much as maybe she will the next time she comes on, if she ever agrees to come back on the show, which I hope she does. I thought you did an awesome job on your first podcast, Mars. It was super fun having you here. Now tell everybody about your plans with your streaming in the future, where people can find you now. You just made a Twitter account recently.
I did. It's Pink Panda Mars. It's actually in the description. Thank you, Mav. I stream randomly. That's also in the description, but I am planning on building a PC, and once all that's done, I plan on streaming regularly. Anything from Viscera Body Cleanup to Fall Guys, Among Us. But yeah, so my Twitter and everything's in the description. Pink Panda Mars. I know it sounds random. There is a reason for it. So maybe when I have time one day, I'll give the background. Thank you so much for letting me come here. It was terrifying. Still terrified. But yeah, I had fun.
Well, you did great.
You did great.
All right. So now our regular panel. Oh no, hold on. Wait, sorry. I the little dark square down there. Like, sorry,
He
Centurion.
doesn't have a face. Like,
I
what
know,
is your
it's
face?
like-
Who even are you?
Now, our special guest as well, which I almost forgot to give
It's
an
actually
outro.
the
I'm an
image I
idiot.
prefer,
Now,
honestly.
this guy is freaking incredible. I love him and all of his input. And I loved your Stargate breakdown, man. That was awesome, dude.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I want to know where everybody can find you. I know you're on the Shop podcast. Now, including that, where else?
Well, again, thank you for having me here, and thank you everyone for letting me, I guess, chat everybody's ear off tonight. Definitely. I mean, this was definitely a fun, engaging conversation. There was times, I mean, I want to just leap right in and continue the conversation going, but like all good things must come to an end. But like you said, you can find me over on the Shop podcast every Saturday night, but you can also find me over on the TXR podcast every Sunday night. And you
That's
can
right.
also find me
Forget you're on
hanging
TXR,
around.
dude. I'm sorry.
No, you're all
Dude,
good,
that's
man.
Gamers
I'm
United Guild too. I'm a freaking moron. Yeah, TXR.
No, dude, it's actually kind of funny because I'm everywhere, but also at the same time you don't see me, just like this little black square. I just hang out in the dark alleys of Twitter. I hear things, I see things, and I kind of let everybody know what's going on. But for everybody to find that, you can find me on Twitter, Xbox Live, and of course YouTube at Centurion1307.
Yeah, check out his YouTube videos, guys. He does good videos.
I gotta do more of them. My wife,
Me too.
I definitely I'm actually slowing down on actually working more in my professional life, and I'm concentrating more on YouTube by the request of friends and family.
Well, you're good at it, so I will also say that is the correct path, sir.
I appreciate it.
All right, now first in my heart, because I love her so, my lovely wife, Caitlin. I know this topic was not your like bread and butter here, but I loved like just having you here, and thank you for making the overlay, especially for this podcast, because that took a lot of work. I know it did, and also the work you helped me with getting 3-bit. That was awesome.
Not to know I had anything to do with that. You just do it.
I was about to say, did you edit that video?
She put the pictures together for me
I
with your
put your
face.
head on all the people.
It was great. So babe, where can everybody find you?
You can find me on Twitter at CaitlinX0615 and here every Friday. And that's about it until you get me set up to be a legit streamer.
Yeah, she does random streams as well, guys. You can catch some hot House Flipper gameplay and also some Halo. She dives deep into that. Hey, seriously though, you got to check out her houses on House Flipper. They're pretty freaking incredible. Now, 3-bit. I'm sorry for earlier. I hope you will forgive me one day. Where can everybody find you, man?
We have a tournament tomorrow.
Oh, that's
Oh,
true.
really?
Oh, yeah. Shout out to that. Hey, tomorrow night at what 10:30, 11:30 Eastern, 10:30 Central, against Season
Yeah.
Gaming.
So you guys
we'll
can
stream
find
it.
me there. You guys can find me here every Friday. I'm on Fun Pop with the great Psychonauts and Mav. That show is really fun. If you guys love comic books and talking about Marvel, anything Marvel related, I love that stuff. You guys can find me on Thursdays with Boom's show. We had like a massive show that day, and Pong was there, Mav was there. It was a lot of people there, basically celebrating what happened with Bethesda. So you guys
Yeah, it
should
was
definitely
crazy.
check that out. That was a fun show. Shout out to everybody in the chat. It was very lively. It's the most viewers I think we've had.
Yep.
Yeah,
so
we broke our
great
record
job,
today, so thanks, guys.
Caitlin,
Awesome.
for putting together an amazing layout. This layout is awesome.
Thank you.
You did a great job. You guys can follow me on Twitter. It's the VGHD, I believe. My YouTube is the Video Games HD. I'm like, what is my Twitter? I'm like, what is? I don't know.
Jeez.
There's a video tomorrow coming out. I'm rendering it. It's pretty funny. It's basically about what happened with Bethesda. I made it days ago, so some things may be outdated. We'll see.
That's okay. You got to go
made it
remake the whole
before.
thing.
Yeah, hope not. But yeah, you guys can follow me there. Thanks so much for coming to the panel. You guys are awesome. To Centurion, thanks for coming. Lady, you're awesome. Mars, you already know. Psycho, welcome. And Pong, you already know. So thank you guys.
Awesome, man. And now also the full-time panel member, making his official panel member appearance, which he's been on the show a few times before, is my man Psychonauts. He got his camera all set up. He got a microphone as well. Like he went all in for this. I appreciate that, dude. You're freaking awesome. Tell everybody where they can find you, man.
Well, you guys can find me on Twitter or Xbox Live at Psychonauts8. And you can find me here every Friday at 9 p.m. and on Fun Pop at 3 p.m. Sundays. And I just want to say thank you for bringing me on. I love it. I'm still like in awe, and I just hope I can bring it to all the rest of the podcasts and do a great job for you guys.
Well, everything will be like way better with you here, man. Week after week, so it's super happy.
Definitely.
And I guess I gotta let Pong tell everybody where you can find them. It might take an hour
Guys.
because there's so many places, you know. But in my brother Pong Soul, everybody wants
Are we
a piece
actually
of the
talking
Pong.
about him?
Yeah, we're talking about him.
Yeah, and all the love in this room. Thank you.
Yeah, Pong is freaking awesome, and dude, I'm thoughts of his. See, I can't even speak. I'm jealous of his thoughts and the ability to speak about gaming. It's awesome. What's up, Pong? Where can people find you?
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Way too kind, obviously. Give me a break. Great show. Chat, you guys were absolutely phenomenal. It was great to see so many people, even new people in here. We hit a record. That's amazing. Centurion, thank you for bringing them here. Lady, thank you for bringing them here. Psycho, thank you for bringing them here. Mars, thank you for bringing them here. No, awesome to see you guys. Great show as always. This week has been absolutely incredible, and there was no better way to end it by spending it here with you guys. Obviously, love you all. Centurion, thank you for coming out and visiting us. Mars, thank you as well. And Lady, thank you for coming back. Thank you for coming back. I didn't know if you would. So I appreciate it.
So.
Exactly. That's why I didn't know if you're going to come back.
Love it. Oh, and guys,
Psycho, awesome.
Oh, sorry, no. I'll do it after. Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
fuck that guy. Stop talking
Psycho.
to Mav. Talk to me.
Psycho, awesome first night with you, brother. So happy to finally have you on a panel with me. Obviously, we've been friends for so long in chat and then through gaming, and now here, man, it's great. So you guys are fantastic, all of you. And again, I love you all. So this is awesome every night. You can find me Pong Soul everywhere. As expected, you can see me here Friday nights and then Saturday nights on the Shop Podcast. We are celebrating PTK Blam's 200th episode,
Yes.
which is absolutely insane. Great show on Saturday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please come see us. We are going to have giveaways tomorrow. Look up PTK's Twitter account. He's posted it all there. But come out and see us. It's a
Have
great
you seen
show.
some of the stuff
Centurion
Fuzzy's been putting out for the giveaway. Did you see what he brought for some of the giveaways?
Yes, it's absolutely insane. Dude, there's so much stuff to give away right now. But obviously, Centurion is also a part of the Shop Podcast, along with Fuzzy Belvedere, which he just mentioned, and Stagorilla. So please come see us tomorrow night for that 200th episode. It is going to be amazing. And then, where you're going to find me. Hasn't been officially announced, so again, I will just tease it out next Tuesday. Keep your eyes open for me. I'll have something there, and then might have something even a little bit more special being announced next week. So keep your eyes peeled. I will post it on Twitter, and you never know where else I'm going to show up. So love you all. Thank you so much. You guys have a great weekend, and have a great time gaming. Get some of that gaming in, guys.
Absolutely, guys. And if you want to play Halo with us,
Aren't we supposed to just podcast all the time?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. If anybody wants to play Halo after the show, we're gonna be on there. My gamer tag is MavSpace7. It's cut off right now because I forgot to edit the size. Damn it. Anyway, MavSpace7. And find me on the party or anyone that is playing here on the panel. I know some of you might be playing as well. So we'll be playing Master Chief Collection again, just for some fun banter and times. Check out the Discord. That link's been going in there a lot tonight. So in the chat, we have a lot of fun over there as well. Special shout out to every single one of you in the chat that hung out tonight. And if you're listening on audio afterwards on Spotify, iTunes, or whatever, thank you also so much. All of you guys freaking rock. We appreciate it. This was a super fun show with this awesome panel, and it means a lot to me. Now, I'm going to have a special outro again because I'm going to replay the 3-bit thing right here. And then after that, you'll be the regular outro. And then, hey, well, maybe we'll see you on Halo. You guys rock. You take it easy. Bye.
You fell off a horse?
I did. I fell off a horse.
I got chased by a horse when I was a kid. Okay.
Dude, I got chased by geese.
I fell off a pony, and that was the last time I read.
That is the most private thing I've ever.
So how big are you exactly? Are you like a small?
Was it a Sony pony or was it like?
I think I was like 15. I wish I was younger.
What were you doing riding a pony when you were 15? Did you go on a pony ride when you were 15? Wait a second. Hold on. Reverse. I have more questions now. Okay. So, were you riding a horse or a fucking pony when you were 15 years old? Were you at a carnival doing one of those little pony rides? You fell off, and when you were 15, and it was so traumatic, you'd never get on another pony again.
You have to answer this.
Fucking great, guys. Holy shit. 3-bit. Oh man, dude, this is the fucking 3-bit. Be prepared for fucking Xbox Ultimate this week, dude. I'm gonna get you so fucking good, man. Oh gosh.
Oh
fucking
man,
pony.
not again. Oh,
yeah, it took
man.
Kaylee rode a pony like a couple years ago at at Candy Canes for Kids.
Listen, it was going fast, okay?
It was probably thinking, what the fuck is this 15-year-old doing?
Alright, later, Stubbs. This is for you, 3-bit. You know we love you, right? Yeah. 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 I'm just a 3-bit looking for a pony, one that I can ride. I'm 15 years old. When I see that pony, I'm gonna jump on it. I hope I'm not too big, cause I wanna really take that ride. If you're 3-bit, let's do it. Ride it, that pony. That saddle's too small. Businessman for a kid.